Boom. Let's see if it hooks to this. Yep. Now let's alt tab. Go here. Let's open a window. Let's drag that window up to the newest monitor. Type in YouTube up there. Let's go to my history and we'll continue watching Christopher Yee.
You do scam somebody, you're probably not going to have your account for very long. Craigslist is still a tool I use from time to time, but it definitely has been phased out over the course of the last 5 years in my experience. Anytime I'm using it to meet up with people for parts deals, not trying to be rude, but if I'm being honest, I'm normally meeting up with people 40, 45 years old or older. That's not to say it's something that you should avoid, because every once in a while I do find a gem on Craigslist. This next resource is kind of in a group of its own, but
really
it's definitely
nice
not something you should
right
sleep
there.
on, and that is Facebook groups. This is
Can
going to vary on the
monitor
strength of a
everything over
community
here.
within your hometown.
play right here.
But a Facebook group in my area
Watch
called
and do what I
702
need up
Gaming has
here.
gotten me some of the best deals I have
What a
ever gotten
setup,
on
baby.
computer parts. I know for some of you it may sound a little bit lame to be actively looking for a community with shared interests, but I am not joking when I'm telling you that if you can find something in your hometown, maybe even start it, of a collective of people who enjoy computer parts, part of that interest is buying and selling, you will get a group of like-minded individuals who want to do the same thing that you do. And then if you can get those individuals to buy and sell, you might build rapport and you might end up getting something down the line that helps you out in a great way, and you might be able to provide that same service to somebody else. The next group of resources is online secondhand deals. So websites like Mercari and eBay. I won't lie, I've bought some things off of Mercari, but I am very turned off from using the platform because after all the fees and the shipping, the secondhand deal becomes a lot less of a deal. That's not to say I haven't bought some things off the platform. My personal opinion of it, though,
Let's zip to the
Mercari
next
is
spot.
a little bit dog shit. Now, as
I'm
far
gonna
as
dip
eBay
out.
goes, it's not bad. I'm not going to say it's good and the preferred method, but depending on what you are looking for and the time that you're looking for it, eBay can be a very valuable resource to buying something used, so long as you already know what you're looking for. The beauty of the other online marketplaces that are more catered towards local deals is if you know what you're doing, you can look for things that are actually not necessarily what you had in mind, but still fit the use case for what you're going for. eBay is very much a resource you use when you already know exactly what you were looking for and then trying to get that for a good deal. In my personal opinion, it's just less fun. It's still a good thing to use. This next resource requires a little bit more knowledge to understand how to use it, and that is Reddit. Two subreddits I use in order to get deals are called r/hardware swap and r/build a PC sales. r/hardware swap is exactly what it sounds like. It's people who are posting on their hardware, whatever it may be, and are looking to either trade it for something or exchange it for cash. I've had about 10 total transactions through that subreddit, and in my personal opinion, it is helpful. If you follow all the rules and guidelines, it is an amazing resource, and you can get things that you A, wanted to get anyways, or B, like I said before, didn't know you wanted, but ended up getting anyways. However, I've kind of already alluded to this. I do know some people that have used that subreddit and end up being scammed. However, from my understanding from the people that I know that did use that service and get scammed, they were rushing through and didn't necessarily follow the rules. The best case scenario I could see for you to use r/hardware swap is, let's say you don't live in a big town. I live in Las Vegas. It's 2 to 3 million people. That's enough of a backyard to have local deals. If the population of where you live isn't that dense, well then going online through hardware swap and then being able to see all over the country, that would be a better scenario. As for the other subreddit, r/build a PC sales,
Was there someone else out here?
Back during the first Bitcoin mining boom, it was one of the best resources
solo.
that I could have
I
ever
thought- oh, he
asked
was
for when
solo?
it came to trying to get a 1070 card immediately and then flipping them and scalping them for more. Basically what this subreddit does is there are collective users who post deals that they think are good value that other people might be interested in for PC parts. The downside to this resource is that the really good deals that get upvoted to the top of the subreddit normally get bought out immediately. And so if you're not on that subreddit refreshing it fairly regularly,
Whoa,
you
people
might
flying
miss
in.
something.
That's his
And
teammates.
a lot of people don't actually know, though, is that this subreddit also has a bot that puts the deals that get pushed through and approved onto a Twitter
Running a
account,
big
which you can set up notifications for on your phone. This is something that I have set up for me, and if a good deal pops up, I'm immediately alerted to it on my phone. This is the type of resource that I would say is best used for the person who knows exactly what they want. Waiting for a better deal. The next resource to talk about, we kind of already showcased, but that is surplus stores or thrift stores. Figure out what in your area sells second
Getting held out here
PC
by
parts. I'll give you an example. Something I learned that exists here in Las Vegas, Nevada is called the blind center. In order for the blind center to conduct their business and raise funds, something I found out that they do is accept secondhand electronic donations. PC parts, laptops, whatever, you name it. They then take those things and sell them through eBay. I found them one day while I was data. I asked if it was something that I could come check out. And every once in a while, that is a resource that I use whenever I try to find something locally in town and want to avoid shipping. The next resource is probably something you've already heard of before, but that is Micro Center. This video is not sponsored by them, but I cannot help but state that every
part made a wall on top floor,
Micro Center prices. One of my favorite deals that they have had for the longest time is a CPU and motherboard bundle. It is not uncommon for them to knock off $20, $30, even $40 off the price of
we should play here instead.
if you get a CPU and motherboard together. Check to see if you have one in your city, because if you do get their newsletters when they come out, there's always some type of deal. The last resource is one of my absolute favorites, but it is incredibly difficult to utilize, and that is stock sales. In case you don't know, there are retailers online that do accept returns from products from their customers in case of any damage or just a general return where that customer decided I can't shoot your gun. Those returns a lot of times get held onto in a warehouse, and sometimes they get resold on the same website, except in a category called B stock. Back in the day, my track too. I check this every Wednesday because every once in a while you can find a power supply, a graphics card for $60. Midweek Madness isn't really a thing. I will say this. Check any of the online retailers that produce PC parts like Zotac, Gigabyte, whatever, around the time these products get and see if their stores will let go of some other at a substantially lower price than what they used to sell. Not charge them all this. I have just come through OfferUp and this is what we are looking at for two options right now. This $250 bare bones system, which if you read it, has a CPU, motherboard, and RAM with a cooler already attached. So that's 4 of 8 pieces that we need. This setup is pretty decent, and 8700K is a 6-core 12-thread processor. It can be overclocked. The motherboard does allow for that, and so we could get some pretty decent performance out of this. He wants it for $250. I offered him $200 and he's willing to accept. For the second one, we have another bare bones setup for $300. Included in this, we have a CPU, cooler, motherboard, RAM, and a case. Which means the only things that we would need are a graphics card, power supply, and storage device. This one is also an overclockable 6-core processor, but it does not have the 12 threads that the 8700K does. I will say what excites me about this listing is that this comes with an H500P case, which is one of my favorite master cases. A slight detail that I'm picking up on right now is that even though normally money-wise I would usually go for something like this if it was for personal use, this guy seems to take better care of what he does. You can tell from the photos, whereas this one was kind of thrown on the ground and looks a little bit dusty. I did offer this guy $250, and he did accept it, and 5 out of 8 pieces for $250 seems like a pretty good deal. I think we're going to go with this. I think $250 for this is pretty solid. It is a nice looking system, and performance-wise, 16 gigabytes of RAM is enough. Overclocking is definitely something that we can do if we don't feel like we're getting enough juice out of it. So yeah, we're going to do this. Okay, I'm going to get the money, and we are going to head out, and we're going to go meet up with this guy. Hello, how's it going? Chris.
Hey.
Hey, I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, there she is.
Oh god, this is so big. Have a good one. Stay safe. Have a good night. Back home safe and sound. The only thing that we need to worry about now is the graphics card, SSD, and power supply, which we're actually going to take care of easily here from the comfort of my desk. I almost never get power supplies secondhand, and the reason for that is because put a bad power supply in a system, you risk damaging all of the other parts. Since we got a pretty good deal on those parts, I do not think it is a bad idea at all to spend a little extra money on a power supply brand new and ensure the safety of our parts. One of my favorite options for mid-level PCs when it comes to power is actually this Thermaltake Smart. It's a 500 watt, 80 plus watt certified power supply. It's only $40, so it's definitely a budget option, but it is also a smart option because again, I do not want to risk a bad power supply in this setup. The next thing that we can get is actually a little bit of a cheap option, which is this Patriot memory 240 gigabyte SSD. Now look, I know if you are using this tutorial for yourself, you're going to end up wanting to get something a little bit bigger. This is barely going to have enough space for Windows and a few games. That being said, it is only $23 if you have an Amazon Prime account. If you don't have one, I'm sure you can find one of your friends that'd be willing to buy it for you. It's good enough for what we're going to do, so we're going to use it right now. And now with those two things purchased, we have one final thing that we need to get this computer running, and that is a graphics card. And to show a little bit of variety, but also to practice what I preach, let me show you where we're getting it from. This is a receipt that I have from a Zotac B-Stock sale. I have my Gmail account subscribed to notifications from the Zotac store. They actually have a little bit of a reputation for selling their Apple GPUs for a little bit lower than the competitors. A few months back, they were getting rid of some B-Stock graphics cards, so I took a look at what they had in stock, and they had some really good prices. And what we are going to be using for this setup is actually an RTX 2060 that I was able to get for $120. But I think that this kind of performance that we're going to get out of this for $120 is not a bad deal. So now, if we want to add up the total of everything that went into this computer, we have $250 for the bare bones, $63 for the SSD and power supply after tax, and then $130 for the graphics card after tax, $443 for the entire setup.
Alright, so as you can see, the computer's been assembled. We reapplied some thermal paste on the CPU. The 2060 is installed and everything is working as intended.
Okay, so I kind of have to die to show the frames, but I mean, it is infinitely better than what it was with the last computer. 350 frames, 1080p high settings. I mean, this is pretty solid. Now we have Palworld running at 1080p on low settings, and I'm an idiot because I didn't realize that this game automatically hard caps it at 60 frames. But the performance is pretty smooth. I've done a little bit of running around, a little bit of action in the game, and it stays pretty solidly at 60. It maybe dips to like 52, 53 at times, but the performance is really good. So last but not least, we're ending it with Helldivers, and this is the menu, right? But we're at 1080p, mixture of high to medium settings. It's incredibly tough to play and try to shoot this with one hand, but I mean, we're pretty solidly at 60 frames. I mean, even with there's a ton of action on screen, we dip sometimes to like 55. It is definitely playable. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my last 5 years on YouTube right there. That is an example on how you can build yourself a very cheap computer for better than anything else you're gonna get online from a retailer. I mean, I think I've always thought this, but the risk of buying secondhand not only makes it more fun, because it's like treasure hunting for me, but it also just saves you a ton of money. I hope that you guys got all the information needed from this video. I hope that if you watch it, it ends up being helpful to you, and that, you know, it's something that you guys will be able to use if you ever need it in the future. I don't ever see computers being something that we don't need. So have fun, go crazy, and if you end up learning how to sell them too, I hope you make some money, and hope you have a good day. And it's gonna sound a little sad, but if you ever hear from me as far as the YouTube stuff goes going forward in the future, just know,
Get up high.
you know, I really enjoyed my time, and I had fun, and I learned a lot. So hopefully you guys learned something too. And you know, if I do, I'll see you later.
Care package over there. Here's your birthday present. New kill leader. Eyes out for it. Backpack, cancel that. Backpack here. Leather 2. Must be something good this way.
What? Bro. Lifeline, where are you going?
Where am I going? You're the ones who moved away from me, buddy.
Yeah, dude. You see that you're not with your other two teammates.
Because my other two teammates moved away from me.
I don't think this guy understands how this game works.
Yeah, says the guy who had to get picked up by me. Complained about it, then got rezzed by me as a fucking support agent.
Down. Jay, down. Alright. Nading.
Yeah, there's one on top of there.
Target over there.
We might not be able to really push it. Yeah, come back, we'll go back,
Let's go. Grenade.
Oh, res right behind us.
Hostile over there.
Dropships arriving.
Play here, play this one.
Enemy over there.
What's that? Wow.
Hey, at least you didn't lose to the ring.
That's what I get for coming to you. Zero help.
They're pushing up. One's like in front of our building.
That's fine.
They're outside. Might be a Mirage clone actually. Never mind.
Bro needs to.
Scrappy DP says, useless.
No idea how to play this game. One's up here.
Something good this way.
Yep.
We're gonna have to we're gonna wrap this way.
Scrappy DP says, you called for me to come help you then didn't fight LOL. Scrappy DP says, you died and had me get you up already.
Dude, don't type. I don't know how to play the game.
Scrappy DP says, but
Knocked
keep
one.
talking about how to play the game. Scrappy DP
Behind us
says,
now, where we can
okay
go.
coach.
Yeah, yep. We need 8 this team right here.
Hostile
Right.
right here.
Scrappy DP says, meanwhile you were dead in the first 3 minutes of play. Scrappy DP says, and crying for me to come help you.
You are. I don't think you understand.
Knock.
Scrappy DP says, after I already helped you by rezzing you.
No. There's a lot of them.
Scrappy DP says, you are the guy who doesn't understand.
With 100 damage.
Scrappy DP says, goodbye. Scrappy DP says, good riddance.
Well, Christopher, yay, went crazy. Now let's go to my subscriptions, see what's on this list. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
This is gonna be a good fight.
What the fuck?
Just get your mom's permission to read.
I've got everything you need.
This is your champion.
Let us see how impressive you truly are.
Let's land here.
Can I?
Dropping in. Hang on.
So there's a meme that's been going around recently that you might have seen having to do with LeBron James, and it basically is making fun of sensationalized sports headlines and graphics that look like this. They typically say something like, LeBron James reportedly, and then him making a rookie mistake having to do with computers, completely unrelated to basketball, and that's the joke. Apparently this meme is actually a couple years old, but it's had a resurgence on Twitter in the past week, and the first one that I saw was from another YouTuber, Enderman. He tweeted one that kind of went viral, and the one he made was, LeBron James reportedly picked update and shutdown to start with. Truly dramatic news. And this was actually part of like a chain of quote retweets of similar memes. The one he quoted, LeBron James reportedly crash, and that one was a response to LeBron James reportedly forgot to delete the meta.inf folder. I think that has to do with Minecraft. If you install mods, you have to delete this folder or else it doesn't work. And I thought these were pretty hilarious, so I made the first one that came to my head, which had to do with people forgetting to set the refresh rate high when you get a high refresh rate monitor. I actually did this when I first got a high refresh rate monitor in like 2015. I didn't realize you had to do that for like a day or two, and I was like, maybe it looks different, and then I realized. And this one actually really blew up. It's got like 55,000 likes or something at the moment, but that's not really what surprised me. What surprised me was all the people that responded or retweeted saying how they only learned you had to do this from this meme that I posted. I actually thought this was like a problem of the past and that Windows was better at detecting the frame rate and automatically setting it, but apparently not. There were like dozens of people who said this, and that's just the ones that actually said something and replied. So considering it got like over 1 million impressions, I wouldn't be surprised if like hundreds of people might have learned about this, or if they don't have a high refresh rate monitor yet, maybe now they know to do that in the future. Anyway, I thought it'd be fun to go through a bunch of these that I saved, and you can see how for some of these people they went a very long time without realizing that they were not using the proper refresh rate. This guy says, dude, I might end it all, and he has a screenshot of the refresh rate stuck at 60 hertz. This next person, this is how I found out my monitor was at the wrong refresh rate from seeing a meme. I can imagine. This person just says, wait, and I have to imagine they rushed to the settings and then realized there were two. This guy says, I've been using 60 hertz on 144 hertz cable monitor, bro, what the Slatty says, this meme unironically got me to remember to change the refresh rate on my new monitor. Thanks, LeBron. Although I do wonder how many people actually think the headline is real. This guy, me for the past 3 months, oof. And another, I hate that this is how I learned my $400 monitor wasn't running at full max. Really sucks for this next guy. I'm afraid I didn't know this was actually a thing. I've been playing at 60 hertz for 2 years now. Even worse for the next guy, 3 whole years. Then a screenshot of him at 60 hertz in the settings. Another guy just says 2 years. This one's in French, but it just says, I can't believe it. And then I think that's
If you know anything about Linux, you probably know how overwhelming it can be choosing the right version or distribution. I mean, look at the comments on this video where a small handful of people are only mildly upset that I didn't pick this one because it's for gaming, or this one because it's more of a stock experience, or this one because it prominently features Justin Bieber.
I think there's enemies in the area.
That's right, friends. Today we are going to be scouring the darkest corners of the internet to find some of the weirdest Linux distros. And while some of them seem like stupid gimmicks, because they are, are. First one is behind this Windows 11 PC that we're going to be using to compare these. Take this. What? Windows was Linux the whole time?
No, it was just a bit.
Yes, it was. Meet Linux FX. It might look like Windows 11. The good old. But under the hood, it's as Linux as any other Linux. Let's take it for a test drive. Okay, I guess we're getting right into it here.
Welcome to Linux FX.
Listen up, I'm getting shot at.
So while this is called Power Toys, it was based off of older versions of Power Tools, but then they kind of got into some trouble because of Microsoft's licensing. I found out later that this Linux FX distro actually has had a lot of issues with basically just rebranding names and stealing IPs and stuff.
Oh.
So they've tried to get around it by making it as similar as possible, but not interact the same way. It's funny because they go out of their way to add basically what looks like the control panel, and then don't make it work like the control panel at all.
Okay. But hey, I can right-click this and configure my network connections?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on. This one I can interact with. This looks and feels about like the current iteration of the start menu, for better or for worse.
Yep.
I can open Thunderbird Mail.
You want to know my favorite part? You know how I said that they were kind of getting in trouble for stealing things?
Yeah.
Go change the wallpaper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because this is obviously stolen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Do you notice there's one wallpaper in here that you might recognize? It's at the very top.
Wait, it ships with this?
Yes. By default, when you install this, it includes this as one of the wallpapers and just calls it abstract lines.
Bro, why does this one exist? Well, if you want to convince people to join the freedom movement, you have to offer more than just the savings of not needing a Windows license or costly Apple hardware. You have to offer familiarity, and some distros, like this one, aim to do that through a combination of similar design and strong documentation and forum support. It's kind of a 1-2 punch of, come on in, the water's warm. Ooh, you can have swimming lessons with Brody. Oh, I just heard we've got 9 more of these to experience, including the Justin Bieber one. And I was like, Segway, 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 oh, like Segway, 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 no.
MSI, with its one-piece perforated front panel, support for both AIO coolers and big beefy graphics cards, and patented DIY-friendly design, their MPG Gungnir 300R Airflow is the ultimate choice for gamers. Check it out at the link below and be ultimate.
If our first Linux was neutral good, willing to break a couple of eggs to make a freedom omelet, our next two are definitely chaotic evil. Debian and Hannah Montana Linux, which were built on Puppy Lucid and Kubuntu respectively. Let's start with Debian, and I've been asked to wear headphones, which is troubling.
So you can right-click on the desktop if you want to look into some settings.
And then, of course,
If you can't tell, this is very old by the picture of Justin Bieber.
Yeah, no tattoos even.
No, fresh out of his baby phase.
Paint, I guess?
Can you draw Justin Bieber?
This is your champion.
Oh my goodness.
Look, the mouse sensitivity is a little funky, okay? Just stop.
Sure, we'll blame the mouse sensitivity.
I'm the jump master. No straying now.
Oh, duh. Canadian flag. I see where this is going. Our one Canadian artist. You're gonna notice it's very stock. There's like not much to do. When this operating system came out, it was honestly meant as a joke.
Yeah.
You just plug it into someone's computer, you reboot their computer, so the next day they go to work, they have Justin Bieber blasting music or...
I can't hear any music though. Am I supposed to?
There should be music coming out of this one.
Oh.
Enough lambing around.
Yeah.
We're dropping.
Again, also very old if you can't tell based on the picture of Hannah Montana.
Yes, I think you mean Miley Cyrus. Yeah.
No, that's Hannah Montana.
She's like my
Attention. First blood.
Well, that's basically...
First blood.
I actually like this one over the Debian. It feels a little bit more fleshed out as a desktop.
Yeah, I think you could actually use this if you really wanted to, although you wouldn't want to unless you had really old hardware, I suspect. Which is fair enough, but given that's true of most Linux distros, you'd probably choose one that has unique features that have real-world benefits, like, say for example, Linux OS, a build for the visually impaired that is based on Ubuntu and features a screen reader to read off what the user clicks on or hovers over, as well as support for external Braille displays. By the way, those are wildly expensive, but hey, if it means people who aren't adequately served by mainstream OSs can use a computer, that is absolutely
45
great.
seconds, rings close.
Oh, there's a challenge.
So we've been having audio issues. Let's make sure our actual screen reader works. Okay. We'll just try clicking or hovering over something.
I just said window.
Extended light mag here. Level 1.
Yes.
30 seconds, rings close.
Yes. Do you think that you could map Wannik with your eyes closed?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
In fairness, it wouldn't be intended to be used with your eyes closed necessarily. Many people with visual impairments are able to see somewhat. However, this is just not helpful.
So I think the original developers started getting you to a point where maybe you could install this, and then if you knew enough, get a couple more plugins to help you get there. But as it is right now, it is not very good.
Got to do some crafting, dears.
It literally just reads off everything, and it's very overwhelming, I feel like.
This is the most Linux thing ever. Panel.
Window.
Panel. Page tab list. Panel. Clearly, Linux wasn't able to reach the lofty goals of its creators, but I would be curious to know if there's anyone out there who is using Linux as an effective aid, whether it's with plugins or applications or another distro that you're aware of that's a little more ready to go out of the box. Let us know what you're doing with it and if there was a steep learning curve or if it was just something you could jump right into. Speaking of learning, Edubuntu.
Education Linux.
So Linux then. Their mission, as stated on their site, is to bring the freedom of the Linux desktop and the vast library of open source education software to the classroom. Blending both software and games, they aim to bring back the old feeling of going to the computer lab at lunch and trying to beat your friend's high score in math circuits.
You want to try one of the games?
I do.
Yeah, so there's a ton.
100%. Games.
Well, okay, so these like real games.
Yeah. Okay,
so there's some in mathematics.
Here we go, Tux Math. Let's go.
I played this at work just to test it, and then I went home and played it for about another 30 minutes.
Really? Arcade?
Yep, Arcade Game Works. And then you can start with Space Cadet, that's just the first one. You can start with Ranger, that's the third one. You can start with Ace, that's the fourth one. All right, get ready.
Okay.
So you gotta answer.
Oh my God. Who knows 19 times 2 out of the... Oh. Oh, okay.
There you go, yeah.
Whoa, that really quickly escalated. What just happened?
Keep going.
Whoa, okay.
8 minus negative 20.
Jeez, let's go. Okay, oh crap, that's not negative 16. Oh, there we go. Okay. I read it wrong, okay?
Sure.
So what is that, negative 45? What the hell is 126 divided by negative 9? I mean, is there, what?
Do the math.
Attention.
Is there irrational, like is that a real number?
Negative 14?
What do you mean negative 14? You can't divide something by negative a number. Negative 60, minus 39, no, 29, damn it!
Oh no, look at Tux, he's running away.
Convert all.
This is actually a really cool tool. You can convert anything to anything.
That's amazing. So from kilometers to grams.
I mean, doesn't mean it'll work, but it gives you the option to have anything. Apparently 1 kilometer equals 1 gram. So aside from games, it has those types of tools as well. I actually want you, I wrote it down here so I didn't mess up the word. Hold on. Can you find the ecliptic obliquity of the sun? There's a dedicated app to help you find that.
Of course.
You want to slide up or you want to...
But it might be a science.
Sun is definitely involved in whatever this is. Oh, it is this.
It is this app, but you kind of messed up by clicking.
Is anyone up there?
You need to actually click on the sun itself.
Got to do some
because what this does is it puts you in a geographical location close to you at the time of day where you're at. So not necessarily the same day. And the sun will be in the appropriate position as to the date you are at or the time you are at. You can click on it and find a bunch of stats about it. It's actually kind of cool. Or that's not as fun, Linus.
I found a hop up here. Skull piercer.
Okay, in all seriousness, I cannot see the sun right now. It's raining and miserable and cloudy. Okay, the app has a purpose.
Tux typing.
I can't read this.
They are very spaced out. Oh my gosh.
It's actually really hard. You go ahead.
No. Yeah, he has to go over all my scripts.
Not all
that's
are
not
inside
it.
the ring.
Slow.
Victory lies there.
If you read them for me, I can type them.
Court.
Okay.
Flood. Food.
Damn it.
Stoke. Floor.
Replicator
Cello? Cello? Green.
Damn it, Elijah!
Sorry, sir. It was actually pretty cool, the amount of apps they had.
Yeah, and while you could make the argument that these simple apps could just as easily be loaded on a machine with Windows 95, it also includes more complex software to run basic simulations, calculators that can graph in 3D, and even electrical engineering programs to help you map out a PCB or circuit board. Onto Red Star OS, which first started development back in 1998, but has since had 4 major revisions, including updates as recently as 2019. What is Red Star OS, you might ask? Why, it's North Korea's operating system of choice. Based originally on Red Hat Linux, Red Star took on a more Windows 95 look before ending up, I don't know, old school Mac OS? According to a study back in 2015, Red Star OS is very tough to tamper with, as when it's connected to the internet, it will check for system changes and essentially brick itself
OS regroup here.
in the event that someone tries anything it doesn't like root access or deleting files. They also found that it tags Western or outside media that was passed around on USB sticks to help track its location and lock it out. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to test any of that since that would mean connecting this to the internet. And you know what? I think I'll pass. I still think looking into an OS like this is cool, though. You can see where the priorities are for a user that only has access to software. I see you managed to get some Western media on here.
Yeah, when I was trying to test it, I was trying to test that tagging of the watermark because they found out it actually goes on the metadata of the file. But again, that only works when connected to the network. And again,
you did connect it to the network?
No, I never connected it to the network.
Optics here.
So
Close
can
range.
I change the language to English or like?
No, but you can select the country as Canada.
Cool.
We can use Google Translate on our phone.
Oh, right. Hey, look at that. There we go. Hey, in Korean, star is the same as star in English.
Is that just taking the image of the star and just making it a different star?
I don't know, but it's good. It's cool. Ooh, wow. Oh, okay. So,
I should pick up an upgrade.
We have 3.45 gigs of memory. And now we know that.
Upgraded and good to
It
go.
essentially is just a stripped down system as well with an internet access. You have a web browser at the bottom, a media player to be able to play media, just probably not Western media.
Right.
A calendar that has all the holidays stripped out of it.
Right.
It's just a calendar.
Right, because why would you need holidays?
Yeah, I don't need to know when, July 1st is.
Right.
Wait, oh yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought it was America.
You're not secretly American, are you? I have a couple challenges for this one. I'm supposed to try to delete a file, apparently.
Yeah, so try to delete something that would be, yes, on the system, maybe an application or something.
On this
You might have
building
to use the
mapping.
Google Translate, and this might take a while.
Electron hydroxyl group.
Also known as a calculator.
Okay, well, let me see if I can figure out how to actually open a file browser. Like, can you?
Yep.
Okay, all right, I'll find it. Oh, well, here. I can just cheat. I'll just take a file that I already know. Okay, yes, I would like it.
Files are right there.
Calling upon nature's strength.
Another weird
So let's delete a default application.
Enemy here.
Seogling office processing. Time to go.
A lot of the default apps will not even give you the option to delete.
No thank you. Oh.
It just won't let you.
Got a replicator
Access
coming down.
is denied. Okay, how did you manage to get it to brick itself?
I didn't. That was the requirement. If someone gains root access, it basically is pinging.
Bro, we gotta get out of here.
That home server will go, whoa, something's wrong.
Can we go?
And issue a command to reboot
I got
at a stop.
lasers coming from above.
So it turns out Linux is sometimes about the freedom and openness to oppress your citizens. Let's move on to something more positive, shall we?
Shields recharging.
You have got to be kidding me. That's a thing?
Yes, sir.
Technically, this is not a distribution like the ones that we've shown so far, but there was no way we were not going to include this. It's a Debian package that can be installed onto your OS that makes it so that if you mess up a command, any command, it immediately wipes your drive. And if you're wondering why this exists, you're not alone.
I cracked an Scotty shield. Got them.
Sorry. It's actually based on an autocomplete function that was originally intended to help people who mistyped a really long command. Maybe they mistook the S for a $, and then it would actually help complete the command. Well, then user QNTM had a different idea. Instead, he had it just resolve to rm-rf/move recursive, so all of its subfolders, and force, meaning it doesn't ask for confirmation. Then that slash, that's the top level directory. Anything below that.
Great, but that's how.
Fun?
All right, what's the challenge?
All right. I got 3. You're allowed to use Google because you might not know the commands off by heart. Install an application. I want you to create a new folder somewhere. And then I want you to change your time zone using the command prompt.
You know it just does.
Navigate to it.
There's 2 on me.
He deleted something and then just retyped the exact same.
Well, I'm thinking.
I'm making really sure I don't screw this up.
Oh, come on!
This is the point I'm making. There's some very, very long commands that you have to type out sometimes in Linux.
I don't know why you guys stayed there. You said...
I didn't even notice I typed like that.
What do you think? Oh, it should have killed you.
Wait, is it just a delayed death?
It might be taking its time.
I think I'm dying right now.
Yeah. Yes, that looks very not great.
And as someone who has killed Linux before,
what is the point of having a...
Now this is something to celebrate.
Shields recharging. Let me tell you.
Yes, do as I say.
This is about what it looks like.
So fast.
If you looked at that and went, dang, I am not into that kind of pressure. Gotta type everything perfectly or my stuff gets deleted. Maybe I'd be better off with something that doesn't save my files in the first place. Hey, we've got that too. That's where TinyCore comes in. It is a 16 megabyte distribution that, yes, my friends, even includes a graphical user interface. To put that in context,
Hello?
photos taken on the
Yeah,
Galaxy
you should
S9
let me
Ultra
die.
can be double that size for just an image. It also sits only in RAM and doesn't write to the boot drive by default, meaning that every boot just reverts back to its
Yeah, hold on, bro. She's
state.
gonna go revive you with 2 teams, everybody.
Is loading
1
everything
second.
up the way that you like it and carrying it around on a USB that you can take from computer to computer. And we've got a challenge for this one as well, right?
I don't like that anymore, Linus.
Hello, and welcome to Rogue Tech Gaming. I'm your host, Muse, and today we'll be relieving some Pokemon cards of their packaging. I've got a couple of Pokemon EX boxes here, Flygon and...
I knew this was not real.
This is the ultimate guide on how to build cheap gaming PC.
So he called the police. He then asked the police to record a video for his boss, explaining why he is late for work.
The cops didn't explain what happened, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to come into work.
Oh, here was pepper spray.
Oh my god, that's sad, but also kind of funny.
Someone dressed up as a girl.
Yo, I caught those slippers though. No. I saw those slippers. I saw the size of your toes. Someone will know who you are.
They then crawled all the way to their car and drove away.
We also know what car you're in, like what?
This is what it looks like when a dog only has 2 brain cells.
Oh, it's
Guys, is it crazy for me to think this? Sometimes when I see dogs that small, and like, it's not just like looking at how small they are. If you ever hold their head, there's usually more fur on their head than is shown, and you really realize how small their skull is, and therefore how small their cranium is. Does smaller brain mean dumber? Just throwing that out there. Reminds me of that evocative one.
Health.
This cat thinks you can drink water.
I'm sorry, I hate that joke. It's such a dad or a granddad joke. Rip jeans. You couldn't buy them new. I hope they gave them to you 50% off. I was gonna say something real mean. Your life is 50% off.
Via Bluetooth.
Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Why are you screaming? It's kind of cute. What? What? You started knocking at him. That was kind of rude. She's so rude. I don't like her.
We're going to do beautiful things together.
What are you doing?
About your car payments.
You put me at 480p? What is wrong with you?
New York City, where nobody stops to look at a burning garbage.
Why is that bird kind of lit?
Boop. Bird kind of lit. Fire, fire.
That doesn't look right. Ooh, get it, get it.
People
So I
for
swear
nuts.
squirrels and gorillas are kind of close on the animal chain. I don't know why.
Food delivery guys in Ukraine use these water scooter things.
Oh! That's so cool!
This farmer somehow raised a giant chicken.
I won, Papa.
Where do you want to go,
I
Scrappy?
like how proud he seems of it.
Why is it just us?
I did not like that at all. I didn't expect that, and I did not like how unexpected that was.
Let's find something
that
good.
Was not correct.
Let's head that way. First blood already. That's what happens when you get too excited.
Does Maya have sheep?
Alright, we gotta shut on these spots.
Show how safe the UAE is.
This guy landed by himself over here.
Enemy landed near me. They just got resisted.
That's so true. Everybody there is rich anyways. They're like,
He's broke. Oh, there's more than one person? I thought you said only one guy.
This cat hates seeing cats in video games.
that, and I did not like how unexpected that was. Something about that was not correct.
In case you didn't know, sheep wag their tails like dogs if they're excited to see you.
They're so cute! Does Maya have sheep?
This guy wanted to show how safe the UAE is, so he left his laptop, phone, and car keys on his car for an hour.
That's so true. Everybody there is rich anyways. They're like, I don't want your laptop. I have 3.
This cat hates seeing cats in video games.
Dad's. I still haven't played Stray.
One of my subscribers made an
All teeth? Missing
One
tooth.
of my subscribers made an engine out of Legos.
I like how chill she was about it. No, split. I guess I'll go Sage.
I knew Australia had big bugs, but this is kind of
Or
crazy.
I could go Clove.
It's literally bigger than Hollow. Like what? Oh my god.
We already have Sage raised. I don't think I can go Clove.
With a friend, and yeah, we're outside, and Mr. Softy followed us.
This hyena thought this hippo was dead and had an easy meal.
Yeah, just wait.
What would your mother say? Keeping bad company like me.
Oh my god!
I don't want to.
Fancy a bit of a blabber? Big Dan's are coming for us.
It's going cross-eyed.
This is your champion.
They went Clove? No, bro. What? I love that.
That is Yummer's video.
Maybe I should live on a farm.
There's a car in my town that has Waifu Hunter in huge font across the back. Yeah, there's been a, people aren't gonna like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, it's Friday. We need to bring back bullying. I'm just joking! That being said, there has been a precipitous rise in incredibly cringe, anime car raps. And I don't think, like, I mean, listen, all I'm gonna say is that anime is like a different fandom, okay? You never see someone driving around with a fucking Tony Soprano rap on their car. And then if you're like, bro, what's up with the rap? And they're like, I just really like Tony Soprano. Like, it's never happened.
The battle happens quick. Be ready.
But if you like really love fucking My Hero Academia, apparently there's an extra motivation to like rap your car and stuff. I'm just saying, you're like, me personally, I like to think of myself as like a constellation of interests. I'm not merely defined by like my fandom, but you do you. And the thing that's really annoying is like, because I get jealous.
Up on that scene, you didn't do shit. No one else did shit. We went in, we got shot, we got wrenched, and you guys couldn't even secure our fucking comp cards as a courtesy after the fact. You're worthless. I quit.
Well, thank you very much.
You are honestly a disgrace. You are. Everyone is not. That is not. Make me, pussy. Make me.
You kill leaders build their way to the top.
Before you take my keys,
Respect.
hey, I personal shout out to Declan and May. Fuck you, Sean Maple, you're a pussy. Chief, not sure why you left my car there to get stolen. Fuck you as well. Fuck you, Captain Sykes, you're a pussy. Peace out.
Says you, man. Look what you're doing.
I need a hop
In the cop car.
Turbocharger.
Shots at the hospital?
I made it. OJ's dead. There's a new update to Fallout. This game's sick. I'm ordering pizza. I'm about to get naked.
Care package being delivered.
Calling in a lifeline package.
Cuzzy. Got some goodies for you. Here. I still got it. I got that here. Code break.
This is intense, yeah. It's fine.
Care package over there. Need an extended energy mag over there.
Yeah, man, we're doing our thing.
It's standard stock right here. Level 2. Extended energy mag here. Level 2.
Of this, I can be rebel of the United States.
Extended energy mag here.
Shine
Level
a light
3.
on it.
Standard stock right here. Level 3. Dibs. Just a moment. Crafting.
I sure would like an R301.
Still be a hero out there, alright?
We can spy on him if you want.
Crafting. Do not bloody disturb.
Oh
Numpty there. This could get interesting. I grabbed that hooligan shield. Killing and drilling. Reload. All those bomb pots are down for the count. Enemy, that away. Shooting at me. Using a Phoenix kit. Being shot at. I cracked down, but this man a wacky neck. We spot a bother. Me and you are down.
Says, what?
Got my teammate's banner. Don't worry, I got a squad mate's banner. Leveled up. It's upgrade time. Let's see what the duck ordered.
Se acabó.
Do I have to make a hole in there?
There's a perfectly good upgrade just waiting for me.
So you didn't really think I could be killed, did you?
Here's the Four Rivers.
Come get your food. Shield said here.
Four Rivers of Korea.
Evac tower here. You wanna fly? Backpack here. Heavy
Here's
ammo
the
over here. Ultimate
cross
accelerant
country
here.
bicycle path. Four Rivers.
Heal it.
And the big boy.
Dynamite. Everything is carbide.
Where you at? I'll heal you. 10 seconds.
Is it sick? Recharging my shields.
Grand Slam.
Stop at the top right here. I'll heal you. Stop, 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 stop. Come back here.
Grand Slam.
Health drawn if you need it.
Come back here, Anna. There's a heal right here.
Says, touch.
Anna! Anna! Anna!
Scrappy DP says, come 3 back.
Oh, never mind. You don't have to get healed. Never mind. I'm gonna do it.
present. Wonder which upgrade I should get.
Yo, I got a backpack back here. I got this back here. I got this back here.
Got an extended energy mag right here. Level 2.
Extra munitions for you in Greg.
That's an upgrade.
Standard stock here. Level
Here's
3.
the Four
Shields
Rivers
recharging.
bicycle path, and then the bat.
Looks like a care
People
package is
asking
coming
about
in. Big things
Four
in that.
Rivers of Korea.
We're gonna try to split this gap right here.
Here's the
Yes.
cross country
Care package over there.
bicycle path. Four Rivers. And the big boy. Oh. Grand Slam. Grand Slam, baby. Cycle Road Grand Slam.
Gives a sick. Recharging my shield.
Contact with Ice Star.
Let's go down.
Bad guy. Outside our orbit. Follow me.
Half the squad's left. No time to be tired.
Steal it. I don't mind. Everything is graphite.
Next ring's not close. Tower. One now,
Heal it up. Thought about average, eh?
Just a script. 1 second. Got a replicator coming down.
You know he's never said that word twice.
On your feet.
Says, eat.
Just a script.
Calcul.
You got
Got
next
out
to
squaddy's banner.
You and me now.
Says, AFK.
Deploying health drone.
Manawahida engage it.
45. Ring ain't close.
Sorry, that was all I could do to even keep myself alive.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Finally! Oh my god, dude! I can't believe
Patch me up, though. Picked up our teammate's banner.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You, he can't handle his shit, man. He can't handle his fun now. Yes! You are a scrub. Don't ever fuck with me again. Oh, he's gonna shoot himself right now. Oh, what a fucking scrub! Oh! Are you kidding me? Flawless. Flawless, dude. Don't do drugs. It's gonna be your fault. I'm trying to get that from the problem. I think it's about me. I think it's about me. So what? Are you gonna cry about it? Your fault is gonna fuck it up, huh? Your fault. Your fault. We're Me too, baby. Oh no, please no come out here. Let me go. I think it's fair play. It's just a different environment. Stage games are not normal CS. I think Simple said that it would be
Almost half a year ago, I began putting out firm NVIDIA Blackwell leaks. These included details on Blackwell's rough expected performance, which I said it was expected to be another large uplift, although not as big as Lovelace, and also when you would actually be able to get your hands on NVIDIA's RTX 5000 series. And yeah, on that note, I said numerous times that I was hearing the laptop series would be ready early 2025, and then that the desktop series would be ready before that. Which to the people who say, duh, anyone could have guessed that, well, those people are forgetting that at that time last year, everyone else was saying that Blackwell wouldn't come out until 2025. And so, yeah, I was going against the consensus when I said those things last year. And, well, now if you look around, though, it does seem that lately everyone else is coming around to this truth that I guess I was early too. Although, I do have to be honest and admit this. Well, I was told and did leak that NVIDIA was going to launch Blackwell desktop cards in 2024. It was, generally speaking, my opinion, and the opinion of many of my sources, that NVIDIA would be unlikely to launch anything but the 5090 and maybe 5080. And if they did launch even one of those, it would be at the very, very, very end of 2024. And the reasons are pretty obvious. If AMD isn't competing in the ultra high end this year, and what is the point in NVIDIA launching more than the very top cards? There just really wouldn't be a point, but you can still try to sell off the rest of Lovelace and still get rid of actually a lot of Ampere stock that is still out there. And so when I saw rumblings online recently that not just the 5090, but supposedly, according to some people, also the 5080 might be launching this year, and maybe not
Your
like
death will come with
Christmas
speed
time,
and
maybe a bit
precision.
before that, I
That
could
is the
believe it,
skill of a
but I was
pilot.
a little bit surprised. And yet, then, one of my best sources that was instrumental in just about every Lovelace and Blackwell leak that you've seen from this year tipped me off
Into the
this
fray,
week
y'all.
that they were
Let's
hearing
start our
pretty
window.
much the same thing that other people have been saying. And in fact, they even thought, if you look at this quote on screen here, that there was a slim chance that NVIDIA might launch both the 5090 and 5080 in Q3. Although I want to be clear that this person thinks that is a slim, remote chance that it is probably going to be Q4. And then I reached out to another one of my longest running NVIDIA sources, and this person said the same thing. Although this person did emphasize that they thought it wasn't really something having to do with GPU sales or gaming competition. And interestingly, an OEM source of mine said that they actually weren't seeing any acceleration to the overall lineup, and that, if anything, they are now expecting their Blackwell laptops to not have good availability until late Q1 or maybe even Q2, and that, well, yeah, maybe other OEMs have heard differently. According to this person, they see no evidence that at least the die configs that will be used in mobility are being pulled up at all, versus what this person told me last year. And this was one of the people that was essential to some of those early Blackwell leaks. And so after getting that last quote, I sat down and just thought about it. I was like, well, okay, generally speaking, everything lines up still between this handful of sources I've reached out to, but one could argue the OEM source has information that's somewhat conflicting with the other sources. Those other sources are some of my best ones, so I don't think they're wrong on this, and other people online are saying similar things. And then, well, I put two and two together and just thought about this. Just because NVIDIA claims something is launched doesn't mean that it really is, or that you can buy it in any significant numbers. But that if NVIDIA is going to launch AI or professional variants of Blackwell that use the same dies as the gaming variants, well then you might as well paper launch the gaming variants even if you can't even really buy them, right? And I proposed this theory to one of my contacts at NVIDIA, who doesn't always, but this time did, reach back out to me and confirm, putting this quote on screen, that look, When we being NVIDIA, announced Blackwell editions of RTX 6000 and B40 type products, everyone's basically going to know the specs of what our gaming variants will be because, well, they use the same dies. And thus, we can't drag our feet on launching GB202 and GB203 because we need those out as soon as possible to keep momentum going against AMD for my products that at a minimum offer a ton of RAM for cheap and could pose a threat to us if they ever sort out their production bottlenecks like the MI300X. However, do note that just because something is launched does not mean it will be easy for you to buy in any serious numbers. And so there you go. Because NVIDIA thinks MI300X could become a bigger threat and other MI products could become even larger threats later this year, that it would make sense to get out Blackwell professional cards as soon as possible. If you're going to get those out, might as well at least pay for launch the gaming variants that use the same die. Just have those ready to go. And you can always increase volume on them whenever you want to, although they probably won't right away. And I actually want to now expand on why MI products are seen as a threat to NVIDIA right now, despite Blackwell having some eye-watering specs, and why this might mean they could be looking at an Ampere style launch, unfortunately, for NVIDIA Blackwell. And I also want to talk about the MI350X a bit. But first, my dog Jesse is occasionally very helpful, especially when it comes to policing my girlfriend's cat. But if I'm being entirely honest, she spends most of the day doing absolutely nothing that helps anybody. And that's really the same as your PC. Yeah, you might love using it to play games or render or model things, but all of that horsepower, most of the time, it's probably not being used to do anything, much like my pets. And well, that can change today if you just use the Salad app. This piece of content is brought to you
You
by
two
the
are shooting at two
Salad
different
app.
directions, so
It's
you're
a
going to get
free
us
PC
pinched.
app that puts your computer's passive power or
Attention,
your home's
the
bandwidth
kill leader
to
has
work,
been
earning
eliminated.
rewards like Discord Nitro, PayPal gift cards, Visa prepaid debit cards, and games and more. That's right, whether you have untapped bandwidth at your house via an internet connection that doesn't always need to be utilized 100% to stream Netflix, or you have a PC that ideally has an RTX 3060 or better, you can get rewarded for simply sharing your computing power or your bandwidth with the rest of the world while you're not using it. So when you're not using your PC or your internet connection to game or stream Netflix, start up the Salad app, become a Salad chef, and pick up some rewards, and also pick up some support for this channel. Seriously, it's entirely free to click that link in the description and download the app. And if you do so, you can just use your gaming PC to earn rewards while you're not gaming or you're modeling, rendering PC. Any powerful hardware you have, including its internet connection, can be made much more useful. And again, if you go and click on that link in the description and download Salad, it helps this channel so much. So support yourself, earning some rewards on the side, and support this channel by downloading the Salad app through the link in the description today. All right, so before the ad break, I made it clear that my sources are telling me that indeed, not just the 5090, but the 5080 might be launching this
There's
year.
still someone in here somewhere.
I'm going to announce it sooner than a lot of people were expecting. In fact,
Because I just heard
actually
footsteps.
that they really probably will announce these cards.
I think they were
at Computex
fleeing a
if
different
something
team.
failing. However, that does not mean that you will easily be able to get them even if they launch. It could be a paper launch, very similar to what they did with Ampere. And in fact, that Ampere
Yep, they're over here. They're under me.
channel covered extensively. That was before the AI boom went into hyperdrive. So if they were willing to do it back then,
100%.
but they're really willing to do it now. You know, even if there is decent availability at first with the 5080 and the 5090, I want to make it clear right now, I'm not really sure that this will help the pricing of the graphics cards that most PC gamers actually can afford in the mid-range. So, like, let's assume that the 5080, which I think some people see in that launch this year, they go, oh my god, that might push some prices down. Right, but it's the 5080. It's not the 5070, and I am too early for me to settle down on the exact specs that I believe the 5080 and 5090 will have, the exact performance. But I have a pretty good idea, and I expect the 5080 to likely be a 16 gigabyte card that is 25 to 50% faster than the 4080 Super, which means at least roughly in the ballpark of the 4090. So think about what I'm suggesting here. If NVIDIA launches a card for $1,200 that is even in the ballpark kind of the 4090 in performance, but actually has 8 gigabytes less RAM, I don't really see how that moves the needle in price performance all that much. You know, yes, it is better price performance than the 4090, but it is a card that is 25 to 50% faster than the 4080 Super for 20% more money with the same amount of RAM. it moves the needle there, but only there above $1,000, and not that much. Then, you know, when it comes to what they would do with the 4090, let's remember that since late last year, the 4090 hasn't even really been able to be bought in decent.
They're pushing right now on me. They're on me.
To this day, it's having trouble sitting at MSRP, meaning that I think NVIDIA hasn't been supplying a lot of 4090s to gamers already. And once they announce the 5090, or at least when they launch it, they might be very happy to just continue the 4090 and then keep selling 8102 to non-gaming customers, which
I can get up to you, but you want me to come to you?
Yeah, let's see back off the top of here that NVIDIA is getting a lot of.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I don't think that's going to be any problems. Stop production of Start production of Blackwell. Have the 4090 go out of stock, and then boom, they have a 5090 that, yes, even at $2,000, will be better price performance than the 4090.
So where are we going? Off to the right or off to the left?
To the right. To the right. Like 30%, 40% better, and if it's $2,000 or even $1,700, that's not going to make any mid-range cards.
You have to hurry and get around this edge.
At 1,200, where would you probably make any of the other cards below that get that much cheaper, anyways?
I did pick up. I picked up an evac tower back there as well out of some death box.
Year, which I mean, look, it could, although I don't expect it to happen that soon, but it could. And if it does, NVIDIA will be happy. They already have a couple of Blackwell gaming cards on the market. But unless the AI bubble bursts this year, I think that even if NVIDIA is launching more than the 50, even if NVIDIA says it is coming out sooner than what a lot of people were expecting, I still don't think this is going to be like a big material change to the PC gaming market right now. Not this early, probably not until mid next year. I think that they're doing this heavy mind share win. They won't supply a lot of volume to them, then they'll be priced high enough that they won't really affect the cards in the price ranges most people can afford, and that this is really just about announcing gaming variants at the same time that they get ready to sell a ton of the non-gaming AI versions of GB202 and GB203 because NVIDIA is becoming a bit worried about MI300X. And now I actually want to talk about that because I am hearing some interesting things about the MI300X and actually, yeah, soon possibly the MI350X as well. So on that note, I'll just put this quote on screen here. So this person said, by the way, I noticed in some recent podcasts you've suggested that some of your sources suspect that MI350X is canceled. I don't think it is. In a recent meeting, it was brought up, and it was specifically mentioned as being on 4 nanometer with upgraded HBM over the MI300X. Maybe there was.
Are you trying to go up? I can't make it up there now. I don't think. I got to go around the edge of this.
But I would suggest that if it's not canceled, it's because they realize NVIDIA Blackwell isn't better in one key metric: VRAM, and cost is all some AI companies care about. And then I reached out to another source about this because if you've been listening to recent Broken Silicons, I've been saying, you know, I don't know, from what I'm hearing, MI300X has taken forever to come out. They aren't shipping that many of them. I wouldn't call it a failure like people want it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be able to hold up much longer. They can ramp it faster next to Blackwell. And that's before we even talk about Vera Rubin, which I have leaked is coming out much sooner than what a lot of people are expecting. Well, you see, I reached out to another source, and this person says, I can't confirm the next-gen stuff personally, but I can say that we, this person's distributor, are being told that more MI300 products are coming in the second half of 2024, that AMD expects the HBM capacity on these products to make them desirable, which I can tell you it's true. Every MI300X made is instantly selling, and the number one reason given is that it already has 192 gigabytes of HBM3E before Blackwell even launches. However, I do need to be clear that AMD isn't making remotely enough to keep up with demand, and at least right now, I doubt they are taking significant AI market share from NVIDIA yet. And so, you see what's going on here? I've been hearing, like, AMD isn't making enough MI300X, and I hear Vera Rubin's coming out sooner than expected.
We got to squeeze through that gap and then go down left.
What I'm also hearing now, which I think is very interesting, is that NVIDIA is going to make dang sure they have GB202 and 203 products out this year to be able to compete with any of, like, the PCIe variants of some of these MI cards, and that's because they think AMD might be able to ramp much higher capacity. Even Blackwell, of course, Vera Rubin is better specs.
I mean, we gotta move. We gotta move.
The VRAM capacity that people want, and they are selling MI300X for way less than Hopper, and NVIDIA is worried about that. That is why they are pushing up some Blackwell launches. it's not because you'll actually be able to buy it. It's because they think AMD is going to be ramping more and more products that could be a problem for them. And so there you go. In summary, it does sound like RTX 5090 and 5080 are launching not just this year, but maybe even before December or November, like firmly this year. And yeah, they will be strong, but I don't think NVIDIA is going to ship high levels of volume of them, at least not after the first week. Who knows, maybe they do like one big launch week so they can get good press, shipping them to gamers, but kind of what they did with the 4090 too. But I think it's mostly going to go to AI, and in the meantime, AMD is going to be ramping up MI300X and almost certainly MI350X production as much as they can to capitalize on their HBM capacity and lower cost wins that they have against NVIDIA this year. And yes, that does come at the expense of
I'm getting shot from behind.
high-end gaming stuff in Radeon. That is why top RDNA 4 is canceled. But you know, even if that's happening, so that they I guess I don't want to make this video 40 minutes long. A lot of people show up.
I got him.
About RDNA 4 specs.
I can't believe that worked.
Almost entirely. This is what I reached about Navi 48 months ago. I reached out to some sources, and I am told that a lot
I wasted my tower, but
speculation is getting dang close to be very, very close to what the actual full specs of Navi 48 are. Although I don't think all of it is exactly correct just yet. But people are getting close outside of Moore's Law is dead. And in fact, the only thing that stands out as odd to me that I've seen speculate about online is the die size.
Are you trying to go up?
RDNA 4. But either way,
I say we
I
just
think
stay down
AMD
here,
is
then.
going to have a surprisingly good price performance winner in RDNA 4. How soon and exactly what the specs will be, we're just going to have to wait to hear that in the next video. That is going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure that you like it, comment below for the algorithm, share it, and subscribe to the Moore's Law is Dead YouTube channel. That helps so much with the algorithm as we continue to grow. It really helps us a ton. Ring the bell button too so you actually see all those upcoming RDNA 4 videos. And also you see the upcoming podcast with Asianometry.
We're in right here at this edge.
Moore's Law is Dead on Patreon.
And we can get down and out over
you're
here.
able to ask us questions
So just,
like
you guys don't play
He
those
is
barrel
somebody
things, do you?
who is really a big person who covers Silicon news and history and so on. And he
One right here. He dropped.
It should be a very interesting discussion if you want to submit questions for him. In the next few hours, the
There's one above us.
should be up, but otherwise,
There's one that dropped
no matter
too.
what, made it this far in the video.
Probably on your
Thank
right,
you
Stu.
for watching.
Tech news comes and tech news goes. I try to make it stay for a while, but that never works. I can't control it. It doesn't listen. The Humane AI Pin, the first in a coming wave of small AI-powered devices, has launched. And now everyone's upset. Tech reviewers are upset that the AI Pin is expensive, requiring a $700 purchase plus a $24 a month T-Mobile 4G LTE subscription, separate from your phone plan. It's incredibly slow to respond and doesn't actually do what it's supposed to half the time. It overheats regularly, makes you look like a weirdo in public, and that's only scratching the surface. But defenders of the AI Pin are also upset because the tech reviewers just don't get that it's not meant to replace your smartphone. You shouldn't compare the AI Pin to a smartphone. You should compare it to the first iPhone because both of them sucked at launch.
You can chop him above over there.
Listen, Humane's head engineer Ken Kosienda admits that the revolutionary AI device his company just launched is frustrating sometimes. Occasionally, the AI simply won't listen and has to be sent to its room. But that doesn't mean you should write the pin off. Why don't you watch Humane's YouTube videos where they try to explain what the f this thing is? At the very least, it might humanize Humane's CEO and co-founder, former Apple designer Imran Chaudhry. See? He's not sad all the time. Okay, now's the part where I say, to be fair, the AI Pin is an attempt to create a new category of device, which always comes with growing pains. Humane has posted a roadmap of upcoming features, and to be honest, the idea of using just my voice for a bunch of things which currently require grabbing my phone sounds great. Now, to wait a couple weeks for the Rapid R1 release, we can do this all over again. Apple announced that iPhone owners and repair shops will be able to fix their devices with used parts from other iPhones and not have to deal with a shameful error message for installing a part that wasn't genuine. Apple has specified that the used parts affected by this update, including Face ID, Touch ID sensors, screens, batteries, and cameras, still have to be genuine Apple parts. Third-party components will not be affected. This is because of parts requiring an iPhone to validate that the part of which Apple hardware executive John Curtis convincingly called not evil. Okay. To be clear, Apple's announcement is unquestionably great news for repair heads. Just don't let Apple diehards know that their devices are Here's a little something for everyone. Mark Muad'Dib, God Emperor Gurman, says that new Macs coming out later this year, powered by Apple's M4 chips, which will pack extra AI smarts and come in 3 flavors, codenamed Jonan, Brava, and Hydra. I'm assuming because Apple's running out of synonyms for Ultra. The Apple M4 Mucho Grande. Haven't used that one. If you use it, you'll be royalty. Like it or not, a bunch of other noteworthy AI music registries, starting with the launch of Studio, an AI music generator created by a team of former Google DeepMinders. Together with the also very good Suno V3, which launched a few weeks ago, we're basically having a Sora moment for AI music. Except these tools are actually available, meaning it's easier than ever to make a pop ballad about how your friends or if you prefer, a sad girl indie song about software. You couldn't do these things before. Other models released this week include Mixtral 8X22B, which French startup Mistral dropped as a 281 gigabyte torrent file, and Gemini 1.5 Pro, now available to developers through Google's Vertex AI platform. OpenAI released a new version of GPT-4 Turbo, but didn't initially describe what was different about it, other than saying it's majorly improved. Sam Altman chimed in to clarify that it's significantly smarter and more pleasant to use. To be specific though, it's more good and less bad. OpenAI eventually did post benchmark results showing that it's kind of better at math? I don't know, maybe the 2 researchers just fired by the for-profit nonprofit for allegedly leaking information know more. We should ask them before they start their own company and get billions from Microsoft. Grammarly is the AI writing partner that works wherever you write. Word doc? Check. Gmail? Check. But if you're using a desktop or mobile device, Grammarly can help you work faster. It can help generate ideas, make outlines, or just provide some helpful tips. You can even change your writing's tone so it comes across the way you want it to. Plus, with Grammarly's rewrite feature, it's easy to paraphrase and enhance your sentences. Sign up and download the app for free at grammarly.com/TL04. If you want to get access to extra features, get 20% off Grammarly Premium. Quick Bits aren't called Quick Bits because they're fast. They're made out of quicklime, and if you touch them, they cause severe irritation. My life is pain. Discord has shut down the servers for Nintendo Switch emulators Suyu and Sudachi, and completely disabled the Discord accounts of their lead developers. The platform claims there was a court-ordered injunction for the takedown of materials on those servers, likely because both Suyu and Sudachi started life as forks of Yuzu, the emulator Nintendo sued all the way to hell. And that's not the only bad news for Suyu enthusiasts. According to someone claiming to be a Suyu developer, the emulation project is dead. Or rather, it's no longer a thing. That's beautiful. I hope that's what my kids say about me and my future. Intel has decided to discontinue boxed versions of their 13th gen Core K-series CPUs, something that may seem like a surprising move, seeing that boxed 12th gen chips are still alive and well, but it makes a bit more sense when you consider that all the discontinued SKUs are based on the same silicon that's being used in the newer, better 14th gen K-series chips. Essentially, the 12th gen chips are like your dog, and 13th gen is a kid, okay? Hear me out. I think Jacob wrote this one. A dog can't replace a kid, but a newer, better kid can. Not sure. You just get rid of the old one and call the new one by the old one's name. No one knows the difference, everyone wins, except the old one. Instagram is taking a bold new step in the fight against unsolicited dick pics.
Team there.
By introducing a feature that proactively
that.
scans images
We're
sent
better.
as DMs for nudity and then blurs them. This feature will be on by default for users under 18, but it's also an option for grown adults who don't want every app to turn into a hookup app. We have LinkedIn for this. The feature will also gently prompt users to reconsider if they appear to be trying to send a nude image. According to Meta, the feature isn't just to shield our poor innocent eyes from unexpected danglage, but also to undermine blackmailers who use nudes to encourage unsuspecting users to send them potential extortion material. Beware, she might say boobs in bio, but that is just her siren song, calling unwary sailors to dash themselves upon the rocks. Google has announced that they will be making several AI editing tools for Google Photos available for free to all users, including Magic Editor, Magic Eraser, Photo Unblur, and Portrait Light. The features were previously exclusive to Pixel users and Google One subscribers, while free users had a limited number of users per month. The Magic Eraser feature is particularly useful if you're looking to gradually delete yourself from all of your loved ones' photos and gaslight them into believing you never existed. At least one use case. And Microsoft has apparently been pushing
There's one right under
full-screen
me.
pop-up ads to Windows 10 users, encouraging them to switch to Windows 11, despite the fact that computers aren't even eligible to run Windows 11, a fact that the ad itself acknowledges. Windows 10's you can't get it, but pretty nice, huh? Official Windows 10 support will soon be ending. Security costs $60 per device. The upgrade to Windows 11 is free. You just need to buy a whole new computer. But you don't need anything back on Monday for more tech news. The internet gets shut off, just sit in front of your monitor.
Do a lot of Unreal stuff, so I want the extra speed. It matters in Unreal at the time.
You need to go do real stuff, not Unreal stuff.
Hey everybody, it's Will from PC World here. I'm here with Dr. Ian Cutress, Tech Potato. Welcome, thank you for coming by.
Anytime.
I have a serious question today. A long time ago, Intel rolled out this XMP thing, and they said, hey, if you buy RAM from your motherboard's RAM QVL list, your qualified vendor list, and it supports XMP, and you put that RAM in your computer, use those XMP profiles, it might be faster than the JEDEC speeds, but it's going to be stable and good. And we're in a place where I don't think that's true anymore. My question is, why does JEDEC not get fast enough for the why is this gap between XMP profiles and JEDEC speed? Why are JEDEC speeds always slower?
So, stability is an artificial construct.
No, I assure you it is an actual real thing that impacts me on the day-to-day.
Stability, you can either consider a continuum or a binary. And I'm now, as a former extreme overclocker, I am now of the opinion that stability is king, because I want things just to run and I don't want to deal with figuring out. The whole point about XMP and other features like it when it first came out is that Intel and other companies had to rate their memory controllers for a given speed to ensure perfect stability in all situations for that processor.
So that means a factory floor where it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ambient is always hot and it's loud and rattling and all the bad things.
For the lifetime of that processor. And some of that silicon was the same silicon that went into embedded systems that have to work for 15, 20 years. So we ended up with JEDEC speeds of DDR3 1600. And yet, but then you could go out and you could buy 2400 memory that was XMP enabled. But the whole point is, if you trade that 0.1 or 1% stability on the highest end, you can get a 50% increase in performance. A common user who isn't using the system every day is maybe playing games 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 hours a day. That's perfectly fine. And have the the ability to recover errors, or any errors that would occur wouldn't necessarily happen in memory that's active. If you have 16 gigabytes of memory, maybe you're only using 5. So if the error happens in the other 11, nobody cares.
Yeah, it'll work itself out.
So everybody was always saying, why doesn't Intel, why doesn't AMD in that DDR3, DDR4 phase, why don't they increase the rated memory processor speed? And it's simply because when they create a processor, when they use a memory controller, they get the lists back from the factory set, and the testing saying, well, on a longevity test, this is how long we predict the memory control to last. And so they have to design memories around that. And that's where JDEC comes in, because JDEC's got to be an industry standard that everybody can follow. So you define a language which everybody talks to each other, what speed everybody talks to each other, and how you ensure that long-term stability. JDEC is market agnostic. It's not just for consumers, it's not just for enterprise, it's not just for embedded, it's not just for medical, it's not just for oil and gas, it's not just for financial. It has to do everybody.
It's RAM across the board.
Yeah, and everybody sits on those panels at JDEC making those standards to ensure that everybody is happy that it works at all times.
Putting like RAM in the head unit of your car.
I broke him.
People putting RAM in a
How many were there?
machine at the hospital.
Three.
Same.
There's three.
So they might be using LPDDR4 at the JDEC speed, which is the same that you can get on your GPU or your smartphone or what have you. But because it's a standards body, they have to make standards and they have to satisfy it. JDEC speed will say LPDDR 200. Here's what your subtimings have to be.
There's another scroll, right? Don't go through that gate, that portal.
Finds most of those.
Oh,
Some
shit.
of them are open because
Yeah, they're pushing from the back.
Some differentiation points, perhaps.
They're fighting somebody else. I think you're good.
I'm crashing this fire right now. I can't get out there to you.
Take your
Nah, you good, you good. Don't worry.
DDR5 3200. It has an A mode, a B mode, and a C mode, which is just different levels of. It's a way to again offer more differentiation, but still make it a standard.
Evac out.
And when DDR5 first came about, we had DDR5 3200 up to about DDR5 5600.
Right.
Circle back to the evac tower you saw on that
like,
box.
we are looking to expand this. They very quickly upped that to 6400. And if you actually look at the latest documents, they have proposed JDEC standards.
Scrappy DP says, NT.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like actually faster than you're going to be able to run on most CPUs these days.
Yeah, the whole point of the standard bodies is that they have to prepare the standards for the lifetime of the platform. And DDR5, just like DDR4 has been around for 7 years and it's still going, DDR5 is going to experience the same thing. And as these standard bodies obviously learn how the market works a bit more, they try to plan ahead. Some of this is tick boxes, making sure that everybody's happy with what the standards say before it becomes formalized. But they still have to be the very safest speeds for everybody. So even though DDR5 8000, you can only get it on the highest end kits today. Only the memory controllers that support it are few and far between. But at some point, that may be the minimum specification. Right, so the standard
2-3 generations down the line.
The standard today, as written, has to be able to think about where they're going to be that far ahead.
Because they don't update the standards that often, or because the pipeline for the hardware is that far out that they have to.
Once you make it a standard, you don't change it.
Got it.
And rather than, so I said they have like an A, a B, and a C. They don't want to make then a D, an E, an F, or an extended. They'd much rather leave that up to Intel with things like XMP to define for themselves, because then they can define the level of stability they want to use for that platform and reap the benefits of having the increased speed if you're able to use it. I just never tick that box.
I do a lot of Unreal stuff, so I want the extra speed. It matters in Unreal, it turns out.
You need to go do real stuff, not Unreal stuff.
Okay, so you said they're doing longevity testing on CPUs and they get results back, and that's when we start seeing the JEDEC numbers. How do they do longevity testing on new CPUs? Short of just running them for 5 years and waiting to see how it works out.
It's the how do you test a light bulb?
Yeah.
Back to the old incandescent light bulbs.
There's Edison light bulbs that could last 200 years. I have no idea how long they last.
Well, it's kind of that way of thinking. What they do is they put it in a high stress environment to simulate aging. The smartphone industry does this quite well because they can essentially build 5,000 devices, put it in a hot box, run stress tests, and then see where everything lines up. When you've got something as complicated as a processor, you can perhaps do that on the very individual IP block level. Whether it's this part of the core, it's the decoder, or it's the instruction cache, or it's the execution unit, maybe it's the vector unit, maybe it's the AVX unit. In the GPU, it could be very specific instructions, or it could be this cache line specifically, we're going to row hammer it until it fails physically in a high heat, high voltage environment.
And then from that you can extrapolate out at what point the failure happens in a more natural environment.
with that, the idea is to extrapolate out. As always, as we're told, when we do science and research, extrapolation is not always an exact science. But the idea is that over time, they have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of data points for each of these individual parts.
I like this spot.
In the industry, there's a concept called a shmoo plot.
Oh, I love a shmoo plot.
So that's frequency and voltage, and each square is green if it works, and red if it doesn't. If you then say, well, it works, but for how long would it work at that voltage and that frequency over its lifetime? Maybe it looks a little bit different. That's a
Delta shmoo plot.
it's a three-dimensional array of whatever. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. There are conferences dedicated.
Well, I'm sure this is like a whole, like there's electrical engineers that spend their entire life figuring stuff out, I'm sure.
It's testing and validation. So if you ever see anybody that goes to fab tours, I think PC World have been on a couple. It's, you know, you'll go and you'll see the chips in test. You'll see the engineering samples. Because Intel famously, they go through 2 or 3 revisions before you get the final product. They'll be doing that testing on the first revision, and then the second version, they might, you know, see something that they need to change in manufacturing in order to make that lifespan go better. Or if they're thinking, well, let's get a 14900 KS part, the highest frequency. Well, they're binning for that, but they're also binning with the longevity in mind, based on how many silicon chips they can produce and stuff.
Or they just say, oh, this memory controller's not great. We'll just call this the 14900 instead of the 13900.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Jump drive out.
That's as good a place as any to leave it. Thank you, as always, Dr. Ian Cuttress. Where can people find you on the internet?
I have a YouTube channel called Tech Potato, or iancuttress.com. That has all my links.
We'll be back with more from PC World real soon. In the meantime, click that subscribe button down there, and you'll get notified when the next video comes online. Thanks for watching, everybody.
This is the worst mic I've ever tried. And it's $180. We need to talk about that.
Craig comes in with a CPU up.
Knockdown shield here. Level 2.
Upgrade question that I think is really going to matter to people come early 2024, because this is coming soon.
Craig, thank you. He says he just got a 7800 XT. Any sense going from a 5600X CPU to a 5700X 3D CPU when it releases? He is on a 1440p monitor, 240 Hertz, and plays mainly Warzone, Fortnite, and GTA.
Buy Windows 10 Professional for $15, activate instantly online with Microsoft, and keep it forever. Don't pay full price. Get the best deal from our sponsor, URCD Keys, using our link in the video description below. Full details on how this amazing deal works at the end of the video. For those of you who don't know, all of the information available so far indicates that come January, probably maybe at CES, AMD is going to be announcing a Ryzen 7 5700X3D. We even have specs on it. It is going to be a 5800X3D minus 400 megahertz of clock speed. 400? About 10%. Okay. Now, is it going to be worth it? We don't know the price. If it's $179, I will shout from the rooftops, hallelujah, that's a good deal, go buy it. If it's $249, I'll say that's dumb and stupid, and you should not. Why would I say that's dumb and stupid at $250? Because you've been able to buy a 5800X3D for 7 or 8 months now for $300. And saving $50 by waiting 9 months to get there is a foolish use of money. You should have just bought it back when it was $300.
Correct.
So price determines everything. Whether it's a good deal depends upon price. Now, he does have a reasonable use case. He has a 240 Hz monitor. He plays Warzone, Fortnite, and GTA, and he wants really high frame rates. That's the 3D cache's benefit.
Yep.
Here's the only problem. A 7800 XT at 1440p, unless you are running at minimum detail or in Fortnite performance mode, is not going to do 240 frames per second. He is not going to like to hear this, but he bought the wrong video card.
I was sitting there going, that looks a bit thin.
It is thin. He needs a 7900 XT.
His CPU and GPU are thin for 240 hertz.
This video card, Now, if this were 1080p, 240, that'd be fine.
Evo harvester here.
This,
Leaving it full
with
would be a
this,
shame.
is thick. Now, you can turn Call of Duty Warzone's details to minimum. You can put Fortnite into performance. GTA is fine. GTA is old at this point. You can put Fortnite in performance mode. Yeah, okay.
Activating jump drive.
It's wrong hardware for the use
Up
case.
here. Hammer point.
I would have encouraged you to buy a 7900 XT.
Extended energy
Before
mag
you
here.
say
Level 3.
1440p.
What's in a 240 hertz?
Well, yeah, okay, that's a great point. If it was a 1440p 144 hertz monitor, then you did fine. It's the 240 that's the problem. 240 is demanding. Here's the other problem with your CPU. 5700X3D, 5800X3D, still going to struggle. Replace the platform. Get a 7800X3D.
Nice
It's
choice.
expensive, it's worth the
You've
money.
got good taste.
You have a $500 video
Don't
card.
mind if I do.
The 7800X3D is going to be 20 to 25% faster than a 5800X3D and probably 35% faster than a 5700X3D. If you want 240 frames per second in Call of Duty Warzone, 74 is your friend. You'll spend $200 on the board, you'll spend 360 on the CPU, you'll spend 100-ish on the RAM.
He's probably doing that because he doesn't want to replace the whole system, so he's trying to figure out.
Telling him what he needs to
I
do.
know,
He doesn't want to hear this,
well,
but
the you know, a 5700X3D is 56 out, 5700X3D in.
Replicator there.
but if
Let's
it's
add to our collection of
$250,
loot.
I mean, if it's $170,
Activating jump
fine.
drive.
I don't
Lost
think it will
one.
be.
We're
I'll
on
be
our own
surprised
now.
if it's less than 250.
Our chariot awaits.
I wonder
Let's
if
not
he's really
think
asking for
It's jumping out here.
out 5600X to get that.
Our chariot awaits. Let's not linger.
What's happening right now? Are we going to get our buddy up? Did you get his card?
That's the answer. He may not want that answer, but that's really what you should do. Because otherwise you're putting money into a socket that
I'm crafting. I looted our teammate's banner.
you're adding 2 cores and you're adding 3 cash, you're going to spend several $100 to do it. We'll have to see what the price is. But that's my opinion. I would replace the platform with a 1500X. 7800X, thank you. 7800X. Nothing less with you.
We kind of need that vehicle.
You won't be impressed otherwise.
Well, we gotta move quick.
Great. Thank you very much for your
We've
first
got
super
a
chat.
minute until the ring closes. If you want it, bag it.
Josh is back. Josh says, is your i5 13 just up ahead worth it in the end of 2023 as a future proof, or should I wait for 2024 releases?
Opening shop.
A 13600K and an RTX 4070 or 7800 XT. Despite my comments about the 7800 XT before, he's on a 240. 240 is not common.
Level 4.
Yes, that's still a good combo. Here's my only counter advice. If you can afford $100,
Just light ammo here.
$100 thing.
Light ammo here.
The i7 14700K
10 seconds. The ring is close. Knockdown
is a 20 thread.
There's a shop up here, buddy. There's a shop up here.
Lioness says, Lifeline.
6 more cores than the
Lioness says, what TF? Lioness says, W.
The 14700K for $400 is really
What do you mean, what the fuck?
So take the 13600 build.
What do you mean, what the
Put a
fuck?
14700K in there if you can swing it. Even if you have to
What do
get
you
a
what the
video
fucking
card,
me
you'll
for?
upgrade the video card.
I like the sound of that.
But with
Can you use your voice to talk to me?
Lioness says, why won't you take the gold knock?
and higher clock speeds,
Where
Lioness
is it?
says, you need it to residential
you'll
people.
get another
Where is it?
Lioness
or maybe
says,
2 years out
smart
of
it.
for whatever it is you're doing. You know, whether it lasts you 3
What do I need? The gold knockdown
Lioness
shield?
says, Bloodhound has it now.
some lesser
Why would I need that?
So for $100,
I have a pink knockdown shield. What does a knockdown shield doesn't do?
Lioness says, for resing.
For resing? What do you mean for resing? I just throw my drone out to res people. What are you talking about?
Spend $100 to $200 for it.
You think I'm gonna knock down shield people when I'm not dead?
Lioness says, it give us shield and heath. Lioness says, hell.
Yeah, we're done
Lioness
now.
says,
You guys just got us
extra.
killed. It gives us shield health? How could it give you guys anything?
Real deal. They activate directly with Microsoft Online, link to your Microsoft account, and they work forever. For Windows, you simply go to Settings, Update and Security, Activation, click Change Product Key, paste the key provided by URCD keys, and in seconds you're activated with Microsoft. For Office, go to setup.office.com, sign in with your Microsoft account, paste the product key provided by URCD keys, and then download Office 2021 Pro Plus directly from Microsoft. Remember to use the discount code TD20 to save 25% off the already deeply discounted prices and support our channel at the same time. We have been using product keys from URCD.
Jump drive activated. Damn it, that hurt. Time down. Replicator incoming. Let's make ourselves something nice.
Rings close. On the right.
Lioness says, nice try. Lioness says, GG. Lioness
I don't know what that
says,
whole fucking
so
shield
close.
thing was about. There was no point in wasting our time doing that.
But it hasn't been alone in this market. The only thing playing in its favor for the last couple of years is that its major competitors were mostly still in China. Now, while this has allowed the company to reign supreme and dominate, it also came at the expense of a design that many consider dated, as those Chinese foldables have gone global. It's the main reason why all eyes are on what Samsung is going to do next, but for the looks of it, apparently it's not that much. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocket Now, and how about if we do another deep dive over the next batch of Galaxy foldables? Let's begin talking about design. Samsung's flagship foldable devices have undergone some improvements over the last couple of years, sure, but if we're honest, the changes have been more in line with refinements than what I'd really call innovation. At this point, we thought it was time for a refresh of the full variants, in particular given they've pretty much looked the same for 4 generations. The thing is, it seems the lack of changes might continue as leaks suggest that any changes may be really minor. A welcome possible update is that rumors indicate that Samsung might adjust the aspect ratio of the outer display to create a more spacious and user-friendly experience. Despite considering various prototypes for the Z Fold 5, Samsung ultimately stuck with the current design, citing its superior usability,
Sightlines look good over there. Beautiful, it feels like.
How much the company experimented with various other options just to prove they tried. I'm seriously curious if any of those was considered for the next generation foldable, or only time will tell. Anyways, recent leaks and renders offer a glimpse into what these potential changes
Oh god, boys, this is like a pub hot drop. What's happening here?
I didn't do
We gotta
this.
Get out of here.
I'm leaving. Yeah, fuck you. I didn't do that.
I killed one, but I'm getting out of here, bro.
Speculation suggests that the Galaxy
Great.
Z6 may retain its status as one of the
She's
thickest
getting
foldable
okay.
devices
I'm gonna
on
be
the
able to
market
crawl away
despite
'cause there's so much
advancements in
chaos.
battery technology, allowing
I'm
competitors
be
to
over
pack
here.
larger batteries.
I'm gonna go get this car and get the fuck out, and then maybe res you, get your crafted
wider
banner
and
or some
thicker
shit.
don't necessarily
I don't know
work well.
why I'm
An
leaving over
interesting
there.
report does have Samsung still wanting the throne when it comes to display technology. The company is expected to incorporate brighter and more efficient panels for the Z Fold 6 with the aim of matching or even surpassing the impressive peak brightness of 2800 nits that we have on devices like the Windows Open. Now when it comes to the hinge, I'm not going to call Samsung's 3-part design for the Z Fold 5 as an innovation, because competitors had already figured this out years prior. Samsung finally got rid of the gap, but nothing Motorola
Hey, there's a
and
crawler
Chinese
right there.
manufacturers 10 solved since day one, and those have also done a better job of crease. All this being said, it's expected for the Z Fold 6 to continue to leverage that same approach we saw last year, which is to be expected given how long it took for Samsung to figure that out. Now, when it comes to specifications, one thing that does have the company standing apart is that its
crawler right here is
folders aren't running last year's chips, or are late to adopting the latest ones when they launch like competitors. Reports do claim that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is expected to continue this trend by sharing many internals with the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Anticipated specifications include the use of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy.
They're inside of here?
By either 12 or 16 gigs of RAM, super fast UFS 4.0
Hold on.
storage, and a sizable battery to power the experience, though
You wait 10 seconds.
are
I'll catch up to you and give you my ultimate.
That's something about the time when you should grab some popcorn. See, there's speculation about the possibility of an advanced variant of the Z Fold 6 hitting the shelves. Alongside this Q6 unit seen in testing, which aligns with the leaked images, there's also been mention of a phone codenamed
On us
A.
or away from
Initially thought to be the entry-level foldable, recent reports suggest it may actually be an ultra variant, boasting a more premium build. However, more details are needed to confirm these rumors and shed light on what exactly is to be expected for this potential addition to the lineup. And if that's not enough, we also have reports claiming that we could see a more affordable option with an $800 price tag, though I wouldn't take that with a grain of salt because I don't really know making a Z Fold even cheaper than the Z Flip is possible or convenient for the company. If anything, it would make sense to just keep the previous year variants for an extra year and just cut the price tag. Now let's switch to the other elephant in the room, which is the cameras. Obviously, that one thing these do not get right in the camera department.
Oh, he's broke right here.
Because they aren't good. They're really comparable, but not what I call worth paying for these phones. Those possible ultra rumors do have me a bit excited because the regular ones are already starting to sound even more boring. The latest rumor suggests that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 may not receive a significant camera upgrade, potentially utilizing the same 50-megapixel GN3 sensor as its predecessor, the 4. Accompanying this primary sensor could be a 12-megapixel ultra-wide lens and a 3x telephoto shooter, offering versatility but not groundbreaking zoom capabilities for the best primary camera performance for a phone that's far more expensive than the Galaxy S24 Ultra. I know. Initially, there were speculations about a shift to a 200-megapixel sensor, similar to the one found on the Galaxy S24 Ultra. However, these rumors were quickly retracted, likely due to the space constraints that foldable devices bring, which may limit the accommodation.
Are they still inside of here?
Large sensors.
Yeah.
As a result, indication now suggests that the Z Fold 6's sensor will remain largely unchanged from the previous. I already see you in the comments calling out how much OnePlus already figured that out with the open or Honor with the Magic Key already solved the problem. Really.
He's into the right. He's into the right.
Details about potential improvements to the front and the under-display cameras are still scarce.
You can get me
but
here.
It's anticipated that
Farmhawk says, 2.
processing through the ISP will
Farmhawk says, 1 left racing.
What? You just let him? He just run away.
Farmhawk says,
I don't understand
why
that.
are you running?
There was one guy who was barely hit. What are you doing? He left us.
I will say One UI
He was in that fight with us.
pretty good, but I can't say that it's a major strike taking advantage of the form factor. Sure, you can multitask side by side and get a cumbersome third window you'll probably not be able to use, but
Why wouldn't you just finish the one guy that you knew was right there?
Farmhawk says, 3v2 and you run.
it's open, bringing new ways to multitask.
It was a 1v1 with the guy completely injured at that point.
1.1, which is anticipated to introduce several foldable sensitive features and optimizations to further enhance the experience of the Z Fold 6. Additionally, the integration of Samsung's Galaxy AI platform, initially introduced with the S24 series, brings additional smart functionalities, though I'm thinking these have to be better than what we currently have as Samsung. But its previous foldables are getting these S24 AI features, or at least very important is this whole idea of 7 years of software updates, though. As you're not
I have no gun now.
for these foldables. The more expensive the phone, the less you're using. I do think those 7 years are pretty much guaranteed for anything Samsung launches, at least when it comes to flagships in years to come after the Galaxy S24 launch. Now, when it comes to pricing and availability, well, let's just say that we're expecting them earlier, but not necessarily less expensive, or hopefully not more expensive, even if we expect the technology to get cheaper over time as it's become more mainstream. Last year we got a launch pushed earlier to late July, and it seems this year this trend might continue, with speculation suggesting that the Z Fold 6 and Z Fold 6 could debut as early as the first week or 2 of July, potentially going on sale by the end of the month. This is Samsung has forward states each year has a strategy that
Oh my god, dude. You guys...
Now, as for the price, we sadly don't have any information on any of the variations. We're not expecting it to get more expensive. Wouldn't it be a good idea for the Z Fold 6 to just become the base model and drastically less expensive? And then the Ultra that is the one that's priced.
What a waste of our fucking time.
I know. Time will tell. Typically, what can I say? We have a possible earlier launch, though keep an eye on the Olympics in Paris, as Samsung is a major sponsor and they have been for decades. Doing a launch there, and at the time when we have a Galaxy Ring being teased, would make a ton of sense. We hear of similar hardware, similar cameras, possible minor changes to software. So yes, it would make a ton of sense if this became a less expensive base model, don't you think? The technology has matured so much in years that competitors are already hitting that price down hard and with better designs. Time will tell, but we'll keep you updated as things develop, as we're still far away. Let us know what you think about my assessment in the comments down below, and while you're at it, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on my personal handles to see me wanna love these foldables more than ever. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
So I've done some videos in the past about software that every single PC should have. Today we're going to talk about software that no PC should ever install ever under any circumstances.
We interrupt this video to bring you a special message from iFixit. No, we interrupt this interruption with this interruption about new stuff from iFixit. Wish you had a new graphics card, but inventory sucks? Fix the inventory problems with iFixit. Whoa, don't drop it. Can't fix that with iFixit. Just kidding, yes you can. Wish you could take iFixit with you anywhere, but your pockets aren't big enough? Introducing the new More and the new Nino. Take them with you anywhere. So get iFixit for your loved one, or just get them for yourself.
So when it comes to the world of PCs, just getting involved in building your tower is like the surface. After that, it's like, what the heck do you do with your computer? And it can be very easy to accidentally end up with software on your computer that can hurt its performance, just completely give you a terrible experience, or worse than that, steal your information. So today we're going to talk about some of my top recommendations of items that should absolutely never make it to your PC. I'd like to point out also too that I'm going to be completely screwing my cookies on my own computer, so I can go to the websites and show you the sites that you should be staying away from. First and foremost is Norton. Norton, oh my gosh, Norton used to just be a basic antivirus that back in its early days actually did its job. Unfortunately, Norton also became a money-making machine where it just decided to start building full suites, and with that becomes a crap ton of cost, inconvenience, and to be honest, just doesn't really do anything for your system. If you want to know how bad Norton affects the performance of your PC on top of just not really protecting you, like the amount of stuff that actually makes it through Norton's malware sniffers and actual virus scans is insane. But run a benchmark with Norton running, and then turn off Norton and run a benchmark, and you'd be surprised at absolutely how much resources Norton uses up. Of course, you can't mention Norton without mentioning McAfee. Actually, if you're ever bored, actually just look up the story of McAfee himself. It's actually his name. You're gonna find a story of lavish vacations and stuff. It's actually, I think we had to probably mute some of those words as we went because of the algorithm. It's actually a like made-for-TV type of story. But again, it's complete and utter garbage. And both of these programs / suites also include now the latest craze, which is VPNs. So do yourself a favor. Absolutely positively never install Norton at all in your system. Fun fact, did you know that one of the latest scams and email phishing scams actually involves Norton and McAfee? Not officially, but because people are not running this software and they're deleting it from the systems as fast as they can, scammers know that if they send you an email saying, thank you for resubscribing with Norton, we've just charged your account $560 for your annual subscription or whatever it might be, and they put a phone number for you to call down there, guess what? You've just called in to a scam center who is now going to go through all the processes of trying to steal your information by phishing you to contact them by thinking you auto-renew with Norton. Fun fact, my mom actually fell for this. And they really are looking for people that are just not very versed in computers for these scans to work for. So if you have ever received one of those emails, just trash it. If you know you've never signed up for Norton, don't ever click on anything in your email. That's just a little safeguard to never click a link in your email from something you don't trust. Anyway, with that said, let's move on to the next thing that is like the latest money grab opportunity for software developers. We're talking about VPNs, of course. Now, VPNs, or virtual private network, was something that was actually very necessary for the longest time to get around things like region locks and stuff. Like, they were very handy when it came to trying to watch YouTube in countries where maybe, say, YouTube was outlawed for whatever reason. Those countries do exist, and to this day. Or there's certain types of content or TV shows that might be available on Netflix in one region and not another. So you could install a VPN, just change the location of where you are, it generates an IP and a VPN through that, tunnels through that country or whatever, and then back to where you want to go. Although you might not have the fastest internet speed through their tunnel, because they would really, for the free versions, they had very slow connections on that tunnel. And then on the paid versions, they'd give you better speed and stuff, and it would give you access to things on different parts of the world that were region locked. On top of that, though, they always advertise this as protect your data, because what it does is it encrypts and decrypts on each end of that tunnel. So any of that information that gets grabbed along the way couldn't be decrypted. Now, the reason why you'd want to encrypt your data, and a VPN sound like a great idea, is if you're doing online shopping or online banking or any sort of sensitive data transformation or transfer online, which would be just about anything these days with our current busy electronic lifestyles, where hackers and other people grabbing that information from public Wi-Fi networks or airport networks, Starbucks, or whatever random Wi-Fi someone might leave open and unlocked, just hoping someone will connect to it to try and sniff that information, wouldn't have a chance of getting that info. Unfortunately, VPNs have become a very lucrative business. And with that lucrative business comes opportunities for them to just nickel and dime you to death for something that for the most part, doesn't even work that great anymore. The reason why I say that is the ISPs have caught on to VPN networking and tunneling. And so what they've started to do is to be able to determine if a VPN is being used and then either one, throttle your connection already on their own, or two, just downright deny the connection altogether. So there's actually a lot of litigation going on right now for like open internet access and such that is still going on in litigation, with many different countries being unable to sort of agree on how that should be handled, where right now the ISP is just kind of free to just shut down the connection entirely. So VPNs are one of those things that might sound like a great idea, and it was back in the day. They're also another point of access for hackers, where hackers now are targeting VPNs to try and get as much data from that source and that tunnel on both ends as possible. And it's happened. NordVPN, who I have up right here, used to be a sponsor of ours way back in the day. They had a very egregious data loss that they tried to hide. It was one of those things that after they tried to hide it, it came to light that had been happening for years. I said, that's it. I can't trust NordVPN, I can't trust anything from them, I don't trust their VPNs. So you can ask yourself whether or not a VPN is important. There are VPNs that are legit out there. A lot of them are free, but you gotta be careful with what's labeled as free, because sometimes the free software in itself is intentionally sniffing the data itself, that it's encrypting. Remember, it's encrypting your data, which means it has access to that data and everything sent. So it's also a money-making opportunity for them, or potentially even a identity theft opportunity for them. So it's one of those things where if you're on a public Wi-Fi, VPNs can seem like a smart idea, but do your research and really maybe watch some of those channels that focus on some of the software safety side to figure out which ones you can trust, especially if you're traveling through an airport or a public Wi-Fi. And if you're going to be on a public Wi-Fi, for God's sake, don't go to anything sensitive, like website data, like logging into YouTube, your banking, all that sort of stuff. Do what you can to go in like incognito mode and stay as off the grid as you can. All right, so this next one, my gosh, we've even been approached by some of these brands, and I just absolutely refuse to do it. It's any sort of shopping extension. Even Microsoft Edge has its own shopping extension. When you search shopping extension, it's the first thing that shows up because I'm on Edge right here. Chrome has one, Amazon has one, Edge has one, Honey is probably the biggest one you guys have ever heard of. And what these are designed to do, you got Cooper right here, Simu even has one now. The point of these extensions is the fact that credit pull, I guess that's just a web link showing all of them. CNBC has even talked about 5 best browser extensions to save you money. The penny hoarder. The point of these extensions is supposed to be when you're shopping and you're about to check out on something, it checks the price of where you are and then cross-references the price with other known online shopping sources to see if it's cheaper anywhere else. Or you could say, hey, I'm interested in this, notify me when somewhere has it at its lowest price it's been seen in predetermined past time. So you could say, like, in the last 30 days, tell me where the lowest price is, and then I can go and buy it direct to them. Unfortunately for those shopping browser extensions, is there are also extensions that are in a very sensitive part of
I feel like
the
this
internet,
was a
which
lot
is
more
your
difficult than it should have been.
checkout process. Okay, I don't trust browser extensions whatsoever. I don't trust any of them. The Honeys, that to me is all just asking for trouble. Not only that, it's extremely annoying. Any website you've ever gone to, like for instance, you saw at the top on that previous page, it had a.
We're gonna need to get in this car.
I don't know why that's there. It's gone now, but it was there. And basically, it could have popped up right now and been like, hey, this extension that's being shown right here is cheaper over here. It becomes very intrusive too in your browsing experience. Like if you go to Amazon, like if you click on anything on Amazon, you click on the product page, it'll pop down with all this crap and it's super annoying. Yes, you can go into the extension, you can sort of tune how invasive it is, but it's extremely annoying. What I tend to do is if I'm going to buy something at a website, like for instance, I got a new company truck and I wanted to get an exhaust for it. And I went to the website where I knew I was going to buy the exhaust, but then I just did a manual search for XYZ coupon code to see if there's any legit coupon code. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these websites do have a lot of pop-ups, they do have a lot of cookie trackers and all this sort of stuff, so again, it kind of sucks to try and find legitimate coupon sites out there, not to mention like 90% of the time they don't work. I have found ones that have worked that save me like 20% on purchases before, but I do it manually. I don't have a browser doing it for me. But I think this is another way to slow down your PCs, to just make your browser have pop-ups galore, and just having your information sort of constantly tracked. And I'm the kind of person that does not like my stuff being tracked all the time. That being said, I do have a very vanilla version of Edge on this system right now that is tracking everything that I'm doing. So that's
Stay
but never install any of those shopping extensions. Trust me, they are going to be more annoying than they're ever going to save you. And if you're actually shopping online enough to have it be worth it, to where you're saving lots and lots of money, it might be time to like Dave Ramsey up or something and maybe change your shopping habits. That sort of segues me into the next portion here. It's almost like I have a train of thought on these. Right? I talked about PC performance and browser performance with Edge extensions and shopping extensions going. Anything that's advertised as a PC performance booster, stay away from it. Stay as far away as you possibly can. They don't work. All they want to do is take your money and make you think something is working. In fact, I did a search right now on Google for PC performance booster, and look what the #1 result is on that. Norton. Because again, these companies are vultures. They know exactly what the layman's are searching for and are saying, hey, let's make this thing. And it doesn't freaking work. It is a placebo at best, and more often than not, they slow down your system because they're running in the background, eating up resources. So PC performance boosters, back in the day when we had spinning hard drives and such, the #1 reason a operating system would start running slow, well, 2 reasons technically, is a fragmented hard drive or a cluttered registry. Now that's because of the seek time on a hard drive, especially like a 5400 RPM drive, is so slow versus anything we have today that all these would typically do is go in there and sort of defrag your drive at night, maybe do a virus scan, maybe, if it was part of a suite, and then sort of clean up your registry on because I've already showed you when it comes to like Revo uninstaller, when you uninstall a software, it leaves a ton of registry files and entries behind. And that registry starts to become huge, and so what happens is when you go to access the registry for the slow hard drive, it's got a huge registry that has to navigate through.
Shotgun_gaming97
So with
says,
SSDs,
carry
that's
us
really not that
noobs.
much of a problem these days, but if you want to have a nice tidy system, don't run any of these PC boosters. They don't do anything. Like, you would think that means it's going in there and
says,
adjusting the power settings in your system. Maybe turning on XMP on your RAM.
Shotgun_gaming97 says, we
making
suck.
sure that your boost clocks are always at their best. No, it doesn't
Scrappy
touch any of that
DP
crap.
says,
It's all software
we all
based
do.
in your OS, and it really doesn't do anything at all.
Scrappy
period.
DP says,
Tell you a
hence
little
the
story
rank.
here about my dad. My dad was one of those people that started using PCs back in the 70s. and 80s.
Shotgun_gaming97 says,
Literally the dawn
you're better
of
than
the
I am.
personal computer has always been involved with it. Unfortunately, he always had this mindset that PC boosters worked. He believed they worked so much, he would have multiples of them running on the same system at the same time, all fighting for control at the same time. Trust me when I say you have never felt the frustration of trying to get these PC boosters uninstalled before the days of something like Revo Uninstaller to try and get them to stop conflicting with each other because of the fact that they leave pieces behind, like I've always said. I cannot tell you how many times my dad would call me over and ask me to help him with the system because it's not running right, and I'm finding like 4 different registry cleaners going, 3 different PC boosters going, McAfee and Norton all running at the same time. Oh, and he also had, what was the one that started with an A? It was like a free antivirus. Oh my God, I love my dad, but I had to one time tell him, I'm not touching your computers anymore. Because when I would say, why is this on here? Why is it? Well, it said blah, 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 blah. You were a programmer. You know how this works, and it's not. So don't. My alternative to any sort of a PC booster would be, honestly, to just keep a tidy system. Don't keep programs on your system that you don't need or aren't using very often. Use Revo Uninstaller. It's free. I've showed it multiple times now. You can remove the programs you're not using and every single trace of them ever. In fact, I'll put a link in the description of this video, linking you to the video where I took you on a complete tour of that software as an unsponsored video. It's something Phil told me about and I fell in love with, and I wanted to share it with you guys. The brand has no idea who we are, or they might now, because we kind of killed their download server one day. But anyway, I digress. It's free, and that is the best way to keep your system running smoothly. None of this crap right here, like advanced system repair. Has anyone ever actually used advanced system repair and had it repair anything? And speaking of drives and files and stuff, just go in and use Revo Uninstaller and uninstall OneDrive from your system. Unless you're actually using OneDrive and linking together all your Windows-based PCs that are on your Windows account, just turn that crap off, okay? And you know what? Every time Windows does an update, it's gonna put it back. So just go in there and continue to uninstall it. You'd be surprised how much OneDrive actually affects your drive speed as well. It's constantly indexing for whatever reason to look for changes in your drive. And yeah, you can go in and tune it, but why? If you're not using it, just uninstall it completely. I don't have anything to show for this one, but if you have a pre-built system, specifically an MSI system, I mean, they all can kind of get bloated. Just about any of the pre-installed software that comes with a pre-built, you can just trash. Now the best pre-builts out there, like Falcon Northwest, we'll just stop at Falcon Northwest. Actually, iBuyPower is pretty good too. We did a video about them recently. They don't load up their software. They might have one control panel that's used to maybe control some fans or some lighting or something that's in the system. But just about every pre-built out there comes with a ridiculous amount of bloatware. Why? Because they kind of get like kickbacks or even discounts for their versions of Windows or whatever that have 65 different pre-installed pieces of software on there. And we're talking about like Norton. Norton is the one that gets their claws in these pre-built companies and say, hey, we'll give you like free Windows if you install ours that has Norton already installed on it. So then you spend like the first couple of days of your new computer trying to get all the bloatware uninstalled. And MSI, for whatever reason,
Are you guys shooting at someone?
Like 64 different control panels.
Let me ask you a question.
Shotgun_gaming97 says, no.
For whatever reason, MSI just can't seem to get it together when it comes to that. But that's an example. Just most of the pre-installed software on an SI
Shotgun_gaming97 says,
and you'd be
the
surprised
flyer.
at the amount of like royalties and residuals there are for these brands to use the software in their systems. It's actually downright dirty. But another honorable mention here before we get out of here is I know I've talked about software in this, and anytime I talk about software, the same discussion comes up every time, and that's like, well, I'm just gonna pirate whatever. Do you know how much stuff is included with the free program that you got that you maybe don't know is there? That is just literally, do you know why the old school viruses, and to this day still are called Trojans? It's because that virus walks its way in with the software you're installing right behind it. And just about every single, dude, the Pirate Bay, you know, you've got all of your torrents and free torrents and stuff. You've got these pieces of software that are cracked so that you don't need to use keys and you don't have to activate them or anything. But you are asking for trouble with the amount of stuff that is going to be included without your knowledge in whatever game / OS. You know, I think the most common pirated piece of software out there is probably Adobe, to be honest. Besides Windows, probably Adobe, because Adobe is expensive. And it's ridiculously expensive, and the subscription fees and all cloud-based stuff now. So people just pirate it. But you're asking for trouble if you don't trust the source. So I'm only putting this out there. As somebody that doesn't pirate software personally, if you're going to pirate the software, know where it's coming from. And I didn't mention, like, I didn't give any alternatives to virus scanners because I think personally Windows Defender is good enough for 99% of the people out there. You need to have a way to at least verify that the stuff you're getting is clean, because more often than not, it's like going to a back alley in Vegas, doing some things you shouldn't do and going, I'm probably fine without protection.
That's the thought you want to leave this video.
That's how dirty it can be, okay? The best way to not have to worry about wrapping your Jimmy is knowing where you're putting it is clean.
Why did he just insult all three of us? How disappointed am I that I didn't get a heckler tonight? I'm from Philly. I don't want a heckler from Philly. I can't dodge batteries. There was a jail in your stadium. So many people were getting arrested at Eagles games, they were like, we can't stomach this commute. Go Birds. No, that's not something to be proud of. It's fine to be an Eagles fan. It is not fine to be a courtroom at the stadium fan.
Shotgun_gaming 97 says, come here live.
Throw at 3 Jews. Yeah, what are you gonna throw at the wise men? Oh, it's frankincense.
What for?
Oh, I can't take this much myrrh. I don't know what myrrh is.
I feel like that Philly is like the only city where they light your car on fire and it's like, oh, that means they like you.
Yeah, Philly is the city of brotherly go fuck yourself. Like that's.
Yeah, but wait, I didn't know there was a jail, like a jail in the.
Yeah, in the old stadium.
Wow. So like I feel like there would be like the courtroom from like the Dark Knight Rises, where like Scarecrow. You are sentenced to 5 quarters.
We've got 30
It's basically what it was.
Yeah. You go down.
Yeah, Philly is like I said, it's a very different city than Pittsburgh. Like, because in Pittsburgh there are parking chairs. You guys have parking chairs here too, right? But you mainly use parking chairs in the winter. And because you shut out your spot, you deserve to have that spot. Whereas Pittsburgh, fucking year round. They're like, I have claimed this spot. And they just own it. And I'm like, that is wild. There are parts of Philly you can't hold a parking spot with a car. They're like, I swear I parked here. Carjacker's like, no, my spot, my car.
I like that Philly claimed Ben Franklin because he is the fattest founding father. You know, he's the guy who's like, I'm very wise, but I'm gonna eat the shit out of everything here.
He was just a big fan of Wawa.
But why can't the gas station sell submarine sandwiches as well?
He invented a lot of things.
You know that Ben Franklin had a real penchant for the ladies. You know, which just goes to show you can gain weight from eating pussy.
What? Says we're skinny or not.
I may be fat, but my girlfriend's happy.
Maybe that's why you hated Santa Claus that much, because he eats so much pussy.
He knows who's been bad, and he knows who's been very bad.
He knows when he knows when you're sleeping and when your wife's awake.
Every house he goes to, he eats a plate of cookies. That's the one day of the year that he loses weight. It comes down the chimney. All right, I'll stop. All right.
Thanks for watching and sharing this video. And thank you for following me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and everything else. If you want to watch videos like this before anyone else, check out patreon.com/SteveHofstetter and come to a live show. I am touring just about everywhere. You can get tickets and see where all my shows are at SteveHofstetter.com. Thanks for watching.
Right, so today we're talking about some divorce drama.
Shotgun_gaming97 says, WTF are you doing?
I was smoking a bowl. You guys outran me.
Charles. He's the center of attention, but I'm not sure how much he's going to like this. Last year when I was pregnant with our youngest baby, he decided being a Facebook dad wasn't the lifestyle he wanted anymore, and he
You
forced
two are
like,
dumbasses.
He has one baby he hasn't seen in over a year, and he has one he's never met. He's moved somewhere out of state to change his phone number. Yeah, so straight away you can see why this got so big, because there's one thing that the internet just universally
You guys then carried me through this match, ran away from me, went to your death, and then complained.
locations and stuff, just because I don't want to like dox it. It's very much out there, though. I mean, literally, like there are so many TikToks just saying everything about this bloke's life. I don't want to be involved in that and just saying exactly like where he lives and all that shit.
Shotgun_gaming97 says, if he was with us we would have been fine.
Divorcing someone who's completely unreachable is really tough and drawn out.
I don't think that's true, because you guys said you suck.
So I can finally close this chapter and move on.
If you guys wouldn't have left me, if you guys wouldn't have left me, we would have been fine. But you guys left me.
Shotgun_gaming97 says, let's see who's better.
Can you please have him get in touch with me or let me know where I can find him? All the girls out there, feel free to share. A friend of a friend of a friend has got to know where he is. So this story clearly starts off with a husband and a dad abandoning their family. But as the story goes on, there is more and more information that comes out about Charlie that definitely doesn't put him in the best light. Now, in terms of people finding out where he was, it was really easy because it's the internet, right? As soon as TikTok gets a hold of something, they're going to find out what happened here. Like, for example, there's a TikTok by Mary Catherine Samples, who actually shown a Facebook group, which I believe is called, like, Are We Dating the Same Person? Or something like that. Basically, it's a group where people put pictures on of someone they're, like, talking to or in a relationship with if they have suspicions of them cheating, and then people will reply if they've also been speaking to the same guy. Now, someone actually posted Charlie's pictures on this Facebook group, and someone replied saying, I matched with him on Bumble a couple of weeks ago, and showed a screenshot showing that it's definitely the same guy. Now, the actual Facebook group that was in the specific area of where they're from, so it was pretty clear where he was now living. And one TikToker who's done a big old deep dive on this situation is someone who goes by the name of Nerdy Pink Panda, or J Megan, and she has unveiled a lot of stuff about Charlie. I mean, first things first, she noticed that he was actually on an episode of Chopped, which I believe is like an American chef TV show.
There is nothing that can take me down.
Except me! Yeah, I mean, fair enough, because she does go on to release a lot of damning information in this. She then goes on to explain that Charlie is apparently, allegedly, a bit of a fraud. Like, for example, he didn't pay his employees.
But not only did Charlie here skip out on his wife and children.
About Charlie. I mean, first things first, she noticed that he was actually on an episode of Chopped, which I believe is like an
I need to see that. Is that me?
There is nothing that can take me down.
Except me!
Fair enough, because she does go on to release a lot of damning information in this. Because she then goes on to explain that Charlie is apparently, allegedly, a bit of a fraud. Like, for example, he didn't pay his employees.
But not only did Charlie here skip out on his wife and children, but he dipped out on his staff and didn't pay them. I've been contacted by several people who used to work for him, and Charlie got into some trouble because he picked up a habit. That habit got so out of control, they tried to have an intervention for him. Then after the restaurant boarded up, all the employees found out that their last paychecks bounced.
Yeah, so obviously I can't sit here and say that this is 100% true, because I don't know, right? But apparently Jay has been contacted by a bunch of ex-employees from Charlie, and according to them, they didn't get paid their last paychecks. And Jay even goes on to explain that Charlie has a rich parent who will bail them out of situations, and the reason why they couldn't get the last paychecks is because they filed for bankruptcy.
Charlie has a rich daddy back in England who bails him out when he gets in trouble. And his family promised that they would pay all the employees their paychecks. But instead, Daddy filed bankruptcy for him. The restaurant employees wanted to sue for their last paycheck, but they couldn't find a lawyer to take the case because it wasn't big enough for the lawyers to think it was worth it for their cut.
Yes, obviously, like I said, can't prove that this is real, but if it is real, it's not a good look, is it? Especially when you bear in mind everything that we've already found out, right? He is a bloke who apparently, and it really does seem like, just abandoned his family, his wife, and his children, which is fucking mental. But then also on top of that, he's not paying staff, then we're going to find out more information. Doesn't seem like the nicest bloke in the world, does it? Now, I'm not sure if she'll upload a video in between the two videos about a watch that's maybe been deleted, but she does start up the next video talking about like the situation with gift cards and the situation with like the wedding deposit and whatnot. I can't find the video that like talk about that type of stuff, so I'm assuming something got deleted in between. But yeah, either way, this is what she says at the beginning of the next video.
Well, we found where Charlie works and discovered more fraud. But it turns out Charlie not only didn't pay his employees, not only sold
Come to me, there's guns here.
knowing that the restaurant was going to close,
There's guns here.
and never reimbursed people for them. Deposit not before the wedding party that their restaurant had closed, and they showed up. Not only did he steal $150,000 from an investor to open a second restaurant that never happened. Oh no, Charlie didn't even finish paying for the first restaurant that he owned.
What the fuck is going on here? Like, how is massive about this situation? This is straight down my clip, right? First of all, he took a deposit for the wedding function at his restaurant, I believe, and then didn't tell him that the restaurant closed, and he went by short of not knowing that. Which I mean, that situation in itself would be enough to get someone a lot of backlash. Can you imagine having a wedding day, you know, what's supposed to be like the best day of your life? You were never told. You would be raging, wouldn't you? And rightly so. And then also, from everything that we've heard so far, he allegedly got an investment of $150,000 to open up a new restaurant, never opened it up, and hadn't even finished paying off the previous restaurant.
The people who spent 10 years building up the seasalt that he owned ended up about $150,000 themselves because he ran off. They had to pay off the landlord that owned the building still just to take possession of the restaurant and try to sell it.
Okay, so if this is all true, it seems like Charlie just likes to live a life where he fucks.
That way, fellas. Move your butts.
Attention. Delivering care package.
Yeah, if I had a gun, we definitely would have won that, bro. I just literally didn't find one. Everybody landed right on.
to everyone sometimes.